Well, welcome back once again, and more importantly, good evening, and welcome to the PS4 Tournaments Open Series Weekly Invitational. We are about to jump into the North American FIFA 20 Invitational, but before we do that, we're going to have a look at some of the highlights from our EU Weekly Invitational that took place a little bit earlier. As always, you are joined by myself, Brandon Smith, and Richard Buckley, and it was Lucky Punch Hammer that took the win earlier tonight, Richard, on the European side of things. Now we're jumping over to the other side of the world in the North American bracket with the exact same protocol in terms of 8 players battling out for a chance to be champion and to take home $250. How are you looking forward to this one?
I'm very much looking forward to this evening's entertainment, Brandon. It's going to be some of the up-and-coming North American players from that region, some of the real top-quality FIFA action happening, and we've also got an EMLS Pro in action this evening. So can he live up to the expectations set upon himself to deliver the goods?
Yeah, hopefully he can, and we'll have a look at that bracket of everyone that is involved a little bit later on tonight. Before we do that, though, let's have a look at how the Open Series is and what is the PS4 Tournament Open Series Weekly Invitational. It's weekly FIFA 20 tournaments across both Europe and North America. It will always be the case. We'll see Europe first earlier on in the evening, and then, of course, we'll move over to North America when the time difference is more in sync and it's a more appropriate time for the American players to get involved. There's 2 grand finals every single week, and there's 4 individual weeks of tournaments that build up to a monthly final. It's best of 1 matches from quarterfinals to the grand finals with a single elimination system in place. And as I said, the top prize will be $250 to the winner. How that is broken down, I hear you ask. The top 4 players all get a little bit of moolah.
They do indeed. First place takes home $250, second $150, third and fourth take $100 each. So if you win your quarterfinal matchup, you're guaranteed $100. It's going to be a fantastic evening of action. If you want to get involved, if you think you are good enough at home, sat down right now on your couch, on your gaming chair, whatever it is, get yourself involved. If you think you're good enough, come and prove it. Compete.playstation.com. We've got every single week for the next 4 open. Get yourself involved and you can be part of the big grand finals on the 29th.
Yeah, it could be indeed. It would be amazing. Let's have a look how that bracket did finish in the European Invitational. So our first ever week in the tournament, 8 players that turned up. We had plenty of goals as well. We had foot verified players with 3 foot verified players in the tournament. It went down to a grand final though between Cool Joker, who was using Liverpool, and Lucky Punch Hammer that was using France. France most definitely, Richard, the team that everybody has been using so far here in our weekly invitationals.
Yeah, France seemed to be the go-to team so far, but I broke it down earlier in the EU sort of bracket how the France team would be the most superior team alongside Liverpool, but I want to sort of give you a different take on things, how people can use the underrated teams, how people can look at a different side of FIFA, and this is Richard's ratings for underrated teams in FIFA 20. These are teams that you might not think of straight away, but these are 4 teams that I think you should have a little look at. England being the first one, pace all over the pitch. If we see England in use, I'll be sure to break it down why in detail England are being used. Atletico Madrid, defensive as you like. They knocked out Liverpool of the Champions League in real life, and they are a defensive masterclass under Diego Simeone. Manchester United, arguably one of the biggest football clubs in world football. They know how to play the game. They've got Old Trafford behind them. They've got a United faithful, and they've got Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes in midfield pulling all the strings. And last but not least, we've got Dortmund, one of Brandon's favourites, and they are a serious threat in FIFA 20. Jadon Sancho, Marco Reus, Julian Brandt, Paco Alcacer, Erling Haaland, some of the attacking threats that they have. They're also pretty good at the back as well, with Hummels captaining that back 4 in the defensive side.
Yeah, that is Richard's ratings. He gave us some of our favourites teams to use in the EU bracket, the EU Weekly Invitational. Well, you were right on that. It was France. France were the team that everybody used. You've been having a little bit of a tally chart going on next to you in terms of the teams that have been used. How many times were France used? About 5 times, was it?
Yeah, out of the 8 competitors, France were used 5 times. Over half of the competitors used France in this tournament. It just goes to show how well they are sort of equipped to head-to-head FIFA.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at the bracket for tonight. As we said, thousands of people signed up for this one. It's been battled out over a couple of nights, and this is our final 8 that are battling out for a prize. But as you can see, Bosniano has got himself a win into the next round already. That game has already been sorted. There's already been a winner being declared on that. The game we're going to be looking at is 0081 up against Dr. Charez. We're going to look at Usman 999 against Lethal. And then we'll have Gustavo 1-1, 2 and quite a few zeros on the end, up against Young-H. And looking at that list, looking at that bracket, I can tell you right now, Richard, Bosniano is a FUT verified player, and someone else that is FUT verified and well known in the FIFA scene is Young-H. He's a FIFA Pro player, played in the EMLS for Austin FC, and I'm looking forward to seeing his game a little bit later on tonight.
Yeah, it could be potentially 2 verified players in the final. Player that I want to look out for. Earlier on, we had the main man. If you watch the EU, you get the joke.
What's coming? What's coming now?
In this one, we've got someone called OOAE. Let me say OAO. OAO. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know how you come up with that. I don't know how you come up with that from that name. So you're all going OOAE, yeah?
Yeah, we are. We're going OAO. Predictions, Brandon. Who are you thinking for the tournament? Earlier on, you had a look and to be fair, you made some very good predictions. Some of your players did go far in the competition. For North America, where do you think you are going to be predicting a winner?
Yeah, well, to be fair, as I said, from the European side of things, we looked at 3 FUT verified players that went and actually did well. They all made it to the final 4. One of them made it to a grand final. But look out for Young-H. I've bigged him up already. He's probably watching home thinking, please don't big me up. Yes, an Ultimate Team player by trade, but still has those FIFA basics down to a T. He's going to be representing Austin FC here in tonight's tournament. As I said, France are the team to beat. France are the team to beat. Richard said it perfectly. 5 players out of the 8 use France. How many times are we going to see France tonight? And as I said, Bosniano, another FUT verified player from Mexico. Keep an eye on that, man. Those are my 3 predictions to keep an eye on tonight. Hopefully, they will live up a bit better than they did for the EU side of things. I expected not as many goals in the EU side of things. It was a best-of-1 game, and I was expecting more of a game management approach from quite a few players. The first game we watched, it was 7-0, so that prediction was gone. It was way gone.
Yeah, I do think potentially, as the tournament got further into it, the games got tighter and tighter, didn't there? Were a couple of 7-0s, 4-3s, big scoring games in the early stage, but as the money started to get ramped up and as the opportunity to win became closer to the final, games did get a lot more tighter. The first game that we are going to be watching here on this broadcast is going to be Dr. Charez versus Oeo.
Have I got this for the rest of the night? Mate, at this rate, he's going to make the grand final, isn't he?
Hopefully.
He's going to make the grand final at this rate. We are going to see this game, as we said. It's going to be a best-of-1. All of the games will be a best-of-1. I believe it's going to be France against France as well, which...
Surprise.
Are these guys been watching the E bracket, or have they just been playing with those teams throughout the qualifying process as well? If you didn't know, there was a big, long qualifying process before this. I know thousands of people signed up online. As we said, we want to get you guys involved in the conversation in tonight's stream in the Twitch chat. We've got some interactive polls for you guys. We've got some questions we'll be throwing out to the chat as well. So make sure you watch the stream. Stay active in the chat because we will be needing your help throughout the broadcast. But yeah, France against France. You know,
I do think if you definitely come from Ultimate Team and you look at France's team, it's the best correlation to an Ultimate Team sort of setup. It's a 5-star skiller in the final third with Mbappe. You bring Ousmane Dembele on, he's got a 5-star weak foot. You've got a lot of pace going forward as well. Defensively, again, pace, good physicality in midfield, Pogba and Kante. You're used to using Pogba and Kante in CDMs together. So it's a team that you're very familiar with. You're used to the names. There's nobody really that's going to surprise you. And I also think when people say that France are the best team, and that sort of starts going around, that word that France are the best team, France are the best team, France are the best team, it sticks, okay? And
yeah,
that's one of the reasons that they are so good, because I talked about the quality. They've got quality in every single facet of the pitch. Defense, midfield, attack. Hugo Lloris pulled out some unbelievable saves across all of the matches. Pace in the attacking third. I spoke about it a little bit earlier. Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, Fekir off the bench. You've got Griezmann, you've got Coleman. What do all those players have in common? They've all got 80 plus pace. They've all got high acceleration and high sprint speed. They can get in behind. And I talked about the core of the team. if you're playing a 4-2-3-1, your 2 centre-backs and your 2 CDMs have to be strong, and they are with this France team. Langley, Varane, Kimpembe all can play centre-back for you. In CDM, Pogba, Kante, Matuidi, they can all do a job in the centre defensive midfield position. It's a solid group of players. They play for the same badge, they fight for the badge, and France, there's no doubt they are the #1 team to be used here on the PS4 Open Series Weekly Invitational.
Yeah, I like your analogy on that in terms of how they are somewhat of the ultimate team that a lot of pro players will be used to using. It'd be interesting to see what team young H is using, or as we said, Bosniano, who is into the semi-finals already. We are going to jump straight into that game right now. Best of 1 game, France against France, as we said, all to play for. Winner will go into the semi-finals. It's the first time we've seen this, a France-France game. It's always been France-Liverpool. There's always been a twist on it. It's like France-Liverpool's come the new derby, so to speak, in terms of head-to-head FIFA tournaments. But we're underway right now. Richard's got his book out. Get 2 more names.
Couple more names there for you. Couple more France on the tally chart being added in there. Looks as though a couple of subs are being made early doors here. Matuidi coming off, Ousmane Dembele coming on. It's going to be Kimpembe in at right back for this France team. Early subs, but hey, we're moving and grooving here in our first game of the North American bracket.
And as the European region starts to say goodnight, the North American region is only just getting started, and we are getting started with our games in the quarterfinals here. Dr. Cherez, as we said, up against OOAE. And as we said, it will be Dr. Cherez in the white strip from right to left, and on the other side, in the French kit, it will be OOAE. As we said, both of these two made it through qualification rounds. It's a best of 1. The first goal means a lot. I said there's quite a lot in the European bracket that we watched earlier today. How is that going to affect the tournament here? We can see how both of these two are setting up. 4-2-3-1, seeming like the popular formation once again.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real surprise. That's a great ball to kickstart this game here. Lovely threaded through ball there. Finding Griezmann out on this right position. Looking for the 45-degree fake shot inside. Not going to be any danger there. Early doors.
It's a great ball. Chance round the corner. It's gone all the way through, and it's... For a second, I thought it went into the back of the net.
How? How was that not got in?
Was there a hole?
The back post. It looked like a certain goal. Somehow hitting the side netting from what seemed like a shot easier to miss. Easier to score than I should say than to miss.
Unbelievable stuff. If you have just joined us, welcome to the PS4 Tournaments Open Series. We're here for our first ever NA Weekly Invitational. Winner takes home $250 plus, can make a bit of noise in the PS4 community. Another chance to get that ball forward now. Unfortunately, no way through for OOAE.
Or otherwise known as?
Wouldn't know. Would not know. Griezmann!
Beautiful effort there, Griezmann. We talked about Hugo Lloris being one of the real clutch goalkeepers. Getting into that left-hand corner there, making sure he got a strong pull behind it to force it out.
It certainly has been. Dr. Cherez, who's had all the chances early on to this one. Another corner to come, and this time Griezmann will be over it. Let's not forget the height that's in that box, whether it's Rafael Varane, whether it's Pogba. There's tall players in there towards the front post. Oh my days, how about that one from the training ground? That one could be goal of the day, and we've only just got started.
It's a cracking corner, I have to say. Played it all the way to the back post. I'm not sure it was intentional, but he'll take it. It looked like a
flick?
A shot there when Griezmann flicked it on at the back post. Mbappe first to capitalise on the flick and clinical from Mbappe at the back post. Kylian on the mark. In our first game here, 20 minutes in, and Dr. Chavez taking a 1-goal lead here in our quarterfinals.
It's one of those, isn't it? You'll say, did you mean it? Yeah, I meant it. I mean, it was an unbelievable I don't know if it was a pass or a flick on. It looked more like the flick on the rebound.
It looked like a shot, didn't it? And he miss-hit it. Unless it's something that he's been doing all FIFA long.
I mean, there used to always be that little thing in head-to-head FIFA. I remember it personally. I remember there was a free kick one back in the day where you could dummy over the ball and next, you just played it and it was always a guaranteed goal. I mean, if he does it again, then I'll start alluding to, is this some sort of meta how to take a corner? Back to goal. Mbappe should have been 2. It wasn't for Hugo Lloris, so a massive save.
Yeah, hit on the left,
Corner.
actually. He should have hit on the right instead. If he'd have gone with his right foot at the near post, it'd probably been a certain goal, but he went with his left, and the shot was a little bit too central because he did hit it on the left foot. Kimpembe out at fullback is an interesting one as well. For away up. 30 minutes into this game. Kimpembe at fullback, yeah.
I mean, we've seen so many people take that right-back role or left-back role so far in our tournaments. We've seen ball across the box there from Kingsley Coman. Just didn't have enough on it to reach Antoine Griezmann. And it looks.
Pogba. Into Kylian Mbappe, looking for the scoop turn. Varane. Very, very quick there for Chavez. Busting out of the back line and stealing the ball back.
It's interesting that Ben Yedder's not got the start. It's kind of the point I was looking to allude to in terms of Dr. Cherez. But he's one of them. If you are playing a 4-2-3-1, is he really a left cam? You'd rather have a winger out there.
Yeah, and then you can't start comparing him to Griezmann at cam. That would be his position that he would take. And Griezmann, in terms of pace, shooting, dribbling, is much better. But Ben Yedder has the 5-star weak foot. So what do you value more? Most players will look at the rating. They'll look at what Griezmann offers in terms of the stats. And they will give Griezmann the nod over Ben Yedder. Me personally, I would probably play Ben Yedder striker, Griezmann cam, and then Mbappe wide.
Just obviously a bit more pace, doesn't he?
You also get all of those three on the pitch at the same time, which I don't think anyone's really done unless they're playing narrow.
Let's not also forget as well, he's a player that you can use to come in and cut in. It's such an effective way this year on FIFA 20 of terms of creating goals. You go down the byline, you never look for a cross. It's always the case of a drag back, then play inside, use your midfielders, use your cams, whether that be Griezmann, whether that be Ben Yedder, and then look to play you one more on or take a finesse on the edge of the box. If you've got players that have got 5-star weak foots, take a shot with them as well. When you've got Mbappe on the edge of the box, look at what you can do. Look at the chance you're able to create. Just 2 minutes left in this first half.
Also, the power of the double tap as well. It can't be underestimated inside the box. When you're looking for that cutback, double tap pass instead of just a regular pass, and has much better success rate in the final third, does the double tap.
Here's another chance now. Last chance of the half. This has got to be a sweat. He's got to take this chance. Can it be well read from Rafael Varane? He's played it back. Has he played it too far back? Yes, he has.
Just overplayed it. It's a simple case of overplaying right there. From double O AE. See, when I don't say it like, way up, it's harder to say. But
first half, Richard.
He overplayed.
What a chance that was. I mean, what do you do different there? It's one of those. You need to, as soon as you're in a position like that, your opponent knows you're always going to be looking for the sweaty. It's how you fool him into thinking you're not going to play that sweaty. Maybe take a few more touches with Mbappe, then look for a simple cross or a dink towards the back post.
Yeah, well, it was Mbappe carrying and you were looking for Griezmann. So I would have probably done a heel-to-heel and forced the player to come to me. Because you're inside right channel with Mbappe, you have the near post shot that is pretty much a certain goal if it does go to the near post. So I would say that if it is after the heel to heel, if he's still not come towards me, I'm shooting near post. I'm backing Mbappe to score at the near post. If he does press towards me, I'm double tapping it. I'm double tapping X across the box, and I'm hitting it on a half volley or a full volley.
We're into our second half now. In the quarter-final stages. These are all big games for a reason as well. If you make the semi-finals, you guarantee yourself $100, whatever happens. If you lose, you guaranteed 100. If you win, you'll be into a grand final. And that money will go up, potentially. Could be doubled. Chance now. Penalty. No, it's waved away. I thought that was a body block for a second.
It's one of those where it could potentially be a penalty when the players do sort of hit each other inside the box.
Pogba back to Griezmann. Still Paul Pogba. Chance to get another one. There it is. And that's the chance that we have been waiting for to square up this game. Mbappe
So
with it.
strong.
Forget the celebration.
So strong, isn't he, Paul Pogba? As soon as he got into that area, he drove at the back four. You saw him there just driving. Beautiful pass across the box. And a very simple finish in the end for Mbappe.
And there it is. OOAE equalises just 5 minutes after the restart. As you alluded to, it's all about Paul Pogba there. It was all about Pogba. Such a good midfielder in terms of what he can do for you. He can get that ball forward. Yes, he's fantastic at the back, but he offers you just a little bit of everything. As you can see there, defending very well. Also, as well, got to think out the two of them. Kante's always going to be the more defensive one. You don't want to get him forward. You don't want to get him out of position. Chance. Theo Hernandez all the way from left back. It's a bit of a running race with Kimpembe. Yes, believe it or not, who is actually playing right back in this one. Look at that stamina bar. It's going to get low when you run about 60 yards from left back to try and make something happen on the left-hand side.
30 minutes left in this game. Ousmane Dembele there picking up a little injury chance here. Mbappe looking to feed it into Griezmann. How was that gone wide?
How many of them have we seen as well tonight? We saw at least 4 or 5 of them in the EU bracket. Those chances where you get in, I think on Ultimate Team, and
That goes in.
it goes in, doesn't it? It's just a routine finish. I don't get why it misses the mark.
We're playing on head-to-head. Might be the composure, it might be the finishing. Could be a number of different stats that are low on the players. But Griezmann somehow missing the target for what seemingly looked like a perfect opportunity.
Oh, to the bar.
Wow.
He didn't see the angle on it, of course, because looking at a different point of view. Coman's done so well. We'll win a corner for his team as well. Griezmann with the free kick, though, off the bar into the box. That one will go bouncing around. You've got to dive down. It will go for a goal kick in the end, though. Varane with the header. One of those headers
like
that
a tree in a storm right now, Lloris. He's flapping everywhere.
So the header was one of those that headed into the ground and had a really weird bounce. If any game is drawing after 90 minutes, we will be going to extra time and penalties if needed. Yet to see a penalty shootout.
Chance here for Dr. Charez. Looking to build into the attack again, but maybe a little bit too direct on that occasion. Just looking to force the ball in behind. Instead, away, deciding to slightly play more conservative in this attack.
Here is 08. Griezmann into Mbappe. Is he able to try and link up with him and find that final pass? Unfortunately, can't go straight back down the other end. Watch out for Kingsley Coman when he can get going. Oh, read by Kimpembe, as I said, makeshift right back for this one.
Is he going past him?
Usman. Still Usman Dembele. Maybe the wrong cutback pass he didn't want. Pogba with the shot and just wide of the right-hand post.
For a second, I thought Pogba had found the inside of the post there. 15 minutes remaining. This game is still wide open. Is it going to be Dr. Chares or will it be Hawaii to clinch a semi-final spot?
Mbappe dancing around the box. There's the cutback, and it's an even better save from Lloris.
What a save. Springing across the goal. Is Lloris just there?
Chances at both ends.
One out. Chances are being created. Who is going to take one? That's the question.
Ben Yedder will come on for Griezmann. That'll be played into the box, headed a little bit too close towards the near post. Out it will go for a goal kick. And just the final 10 minutes here. If you have just joined us, guys, welcome to the PlayStation Tournaments Open Series. We are in our first week of our weekly FIFA 20 invitationals. That's a mistake. Is he going to be made to pay for it, though? Chance, Dr. Chares of Mbappe. Needs to get that ball moving. Needs to get onto someone else in and around the box.
It's a little bit too slow there in the final third for Dr. Chares. The chance for Coleman to stretch his legs.
Tried to have a little bit of a rainbow flick there, which was very adventurous from him. Chance, Mbappe, back to Coleman. Is that the chance? Fantastic block at the back.
You win this game, you got a guaranteed $100. What is it going to be? Another extra time game. Seen a few already in the EU bracket here on week 1. Now in North America. Is extra time going to proceed?
It's also not forget as well, Rich, we saw extra time in our grand final. Added time of 3 minutes, quite generous added time as well. If you're a FIFA fan, you know, at 9 times out of 10, you only get 2 minutes of added time. Adds an extra minute on, which could prove to be a factor in terms of letting one more attack go on. One more chance, one more final chance. Griezmann just can't find his foot and couldn't link up with Mbappe as he would have wanted to. 3 minutes have been played, and of course, we're going to extra time.
We're going into an additional 30 minutes. If not, it will be penalties for both of these two in our first quarter-final here. We've got 2 more quarter-finals left to play to find our semi-finalists here on the PS4 Tournaments Open Series. FIFA 20 Weekly Invitational. Week 1.
Well, it's been the Mbappe show in this one, hasn't it? We've had 2 goals, and of course Mbappe's got them both. It was an early start for Dr. Chares, and then OOAE replying with a decent little finish at the end. Pogba able to link up perfectly, and now we find ourselves in extra time. OOAE has made a pause early on, whether that's the chance to bring on some fresh personnel. I saw him actually bring on Ben Yedder.
It's not a bad sub, is it? It's not a bad super sub to have coming onto the pitch. Just for Dr. Chares. Don't see much introduced at half-time. Should say full time.
That's a chance to look at the team as well. It's pretty much the standard French team that we've seen in terms of 4-2-3-1. It's just this fullback debate, isn't it? It's just going to go on over the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. Who is the right back you play in that position?
I mean, pretty much apart from that, the rest of the team is very similar, isn't it? But the right back is certainly up for debate. You can almost spin a wheel. There's about 3 different people that you could pick. Do you put Kante out there? Do you put Mendy? Is it a centre-back out there like we've seen Kimpembe here?
Ben Yedder looking to make a mark. Ben Yedder! Great save, corner to come in. Flicked on at the front post, still around in the box. It's going to be a half volley for Rafael Varane, who just sticks a leg at it. That's what he can do.
You saw the impact, didn't you? People were scared. As soon as Wasim got on the ball, they knew that he could drive at either side, just like Kylian Mbappe can drive. Away from Lenglet, he's got a man at the back post. If he does decide to use it, he's played it to the back post, Lloris.
As we got in the 90 minutes, Richard, chances at both ends. It's what's going to happen.
Just looks a little bit panicky, I want to say, for both of these two players. They're rushing a little bit in the final third.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
See that there? That's a perfect example of it, okay? He's shot with Coleman. It should be a pass. It should be a pass across the box. A pass across the box is a certain goal. But instead, he's gone for the shot with Kingsley, and it's on a little bit of a tight angle. It could go in, but if you pass it, it's a certain goal.
Can't dwell on that now, though, hasn't it? He's got to get that ball straight back down the other end. Chance may have gone begging, but he's got to think, right, I've made a chance with Ben Yedder. I've got him on the ball, Paul Pogba, using that drag back to perfection and nearly scoring a goal. If it wasn't for Hugo Lloris, who has been unstoppable. Corner, played in. Up in the air and into the back of the net. Eventually, Rafael Varane will get on the end of a header.
Both goals come from corners for Dr. Chares. First one was a flick at the near post. The second one coming directly from Rafael Varane. That was literally the last thing of the first half. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Literally the last kick of the game being the deciding half-time whistle.
It was weird why he didn't celebrate, didn't he?
Oh, they put it on golden goal. No extra time and penalties. That's why.
Oh.
Looks like the game's finished. It looks like 106 minutes.
Maybe they thought they were playing golden goal then, and that will be to be confirmed.
Yeah, we will get confirmation from that very shortly indeed. But I see all the chat saying C as well, so I'm guessing from the language that we saw on the screen, it looks like that was the game over. Earlier on, we were playing extra time and penalties. We'll get confirmation on what is what, if that game's going to restart with 14 minutes left to play, or if it is going to be completed. We'll get confirmation on that very shortly indeed. But 2 goals from corners for Dr. Chares.
And 2 different corners as well, wasn't it? There was probably, if he meant it, I'm sure the Twitch chat can help us with that on that as well. If he meant it, what a corner that was. We might actually get to go and see it again quickly now and see the goal. There it is. Is it a pass? Is it a flick on? It was played towards the front post. It's in slow-mo, this one. Is it a flick? Oh, it's a little pass around the corner, and it's Mbappe at the back post. But the way that got through, about 4 or 5 French defenders kind of surprises me a little bit.
I don't know if he's passed that. I think he's volleyed that and he's shanked it. I don't know. I don't pass that there. Do you know what I mean? If that corner's coming in, I'm pressing circle as soon as possible. As soon as that cross comes in, I'm pressing circle to head it. And if he has passed that, to have the wherewithal to through ball it to the back post, great insight.
Yeah, amazing stuff. As we said, we believe it finished on golden goal. We were supposed to be playing extra time and penalties, so we'll let you know what the situation is with that. If both players have agreed to play golden goal, of course, it's their own deciding on that one. We've still got 2 quarterfinals to come up as well. Let's not forget that. And plenty more action to come as well. If you don't know what the PS4 Tournaments Open Series, it's for a chance for you guys to get involved in the action. You can get involved. It's compete.playstation.com. There'll be a link that will appear just below us right now. Go online, type it in your web browser, search it, and you can get involved. FIFA 20 players. We're looking for the next star on PlayStation. There'll be cash prizes, there'll be in-game prizes, and there'll be lots and lots and lots of stuff up for grabs, alongside getting your matches commentated on by myself, Brandon, and Richard. So if you value that as a prize, then you'll enjoy that as well. But this is how we're looking, Richard, isn't it? It's going to be a 2 weekly 8-player tournaments, both European and North America, and it'll be over 4 different weeks with a monthly grand final.
June 11th, 18th, 25th, and the grand final on the 29th. You could be the next Joxan, the next New York City Chris, the next Alan Avi. Just all you need to do, prove that you can do it. Compete.playstation.com. If you think you're better than Dr. Charis, if you think you're better than Oeo, make sure you get involved and you compete.
Just still can't get over that. Does that mean that we could be saying goodbye to Oeo?
Potentially, we will get confirmation. Hopefully not, because I think I've got one more good away in me, but we'll get a confirmation very shortly indeed on what is happening with the protocol for that matchup. But looking towards the rest of the tournament, you had your eyes on one particular player, Brandon, and it was an EMLS player. Talk to me a little bit more about him.
Yeah, certainly indeed. As we said, we are going to be looking a little bit later into that game. The man that plays for Austin, of course, will be in action. We'll have a look at the bracket if we can. In fact, let's jump over to the bracket and see how that is looking in terms of people involved tonight. We've got one player that's obviously got a bye as well in that. We're going to go have a look at the bracket right now, and we can show you how that is looking. And here we are. So, regarding the player you were mentioning, Young H, at the bottom of the bracket, currently plays for Austin FC as part of the EMLS. If you follow FIFA Esports, you'll know what the EMLS is. You know the tournament that it is. He's up against Gustavo in that game. This is the North American bracket, by the way, guys. These are the final 8 players that have got through all of their games. On the other side of that, you've got Usman 99 against Lethal Lineagia, if I can say that right. He's in a game as well in the quarterfinals. That'll probably be our next one that we will be looking at. But all eyes on Young H. I messaged him a little bit before he got going tonight, and he just said it's just for me. It's just adapting from FIFA Ultimate Team to head-to-head, which some players can do easier than others.
Yeah, absolutely. I seem to remember talking to Ajax Danny a little while ago, and he was saying how he is very, very comfortable with adapting from foot to head-to-head to pro clubs, whatever game mode it is across FIFA. He feels very comfortable across it, whereas some players only stick to head-to-head. They'll never touch Ultimate Team. Some players will only play pro clubs and they'll never go on Ultimate Team or head-to-head. Some players will only play Ultimate Team and will not go to other game modes. They feel like it feels different. Gameplay might feel quicker in one game mode than another. It is all up to the player's discretion. But players who can sort of be a jack of all trades and go into head-to-head and then play against the computer on squad battles, then get 25 wins on Weekend League. I think Marcus Gomez was one of those players from Australia in particular. I think he got a top 100 on squad battles and then went and got top 100 on Weekend League as well. Unbelievable to do that on both facets of the game. It just shows how good of a player he really is.
Yeah, crazy stuff. But let's get the Twitch polls up, all right? This will be our first one of the evening. We don't know how these work, guys. We want you at home to get involved. The way you can vote on this is either by typing 1, 2, or 3 in the chat. This is the question that we're throwing out to you guys. What is your favourite formation to use with France? If you have played in tonight's tournament, in the qualifiers, or you've been involved in the finals tonight and you are yet to play, let us know. Favourite formation, is it the 4-2-3-1? That I think everybody kind of looks towards using? Is it the 4-1-2-1-2? I've seen a handful of people use that. I used it in the EU bracket, or the 4-4-2, a formation that out of the 3 you probably wouldn't use too much, but it is a balanced formation.
Yeah, I mean, the 4-4-2, it's certainly something that you can use with that French team. Ben Yedder and Mbappe up top, or Griezmann and Ben Yedder up top, and then you've got pace out wide in Usman and Mbappe, and then in your midfield spots, Kante and Pogba. It sounds like a very formidable formation, but all of the sort of votes coming in at the minute for 4-2-3-1. There's only a couple of players gone for the 4-4-2, so 83% of people voting for the 4-2-3-1.
And if you don't know about the 4-2-3-1, Richard, what is it about the 4-2-3-1 that is just so good? Other than that, it's the formation to go to for pro FIFA players. It's the formation to go to if you're somewhat of more of a not a casual, but you're kind of on your way. You maybe you're elite on Foot Champions or at least Gold 1 and above. It just offers you a bit of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, so the 4-2-3-1, it's a very balanced formation. You've got your back four, which is standard. You then got 2 central defensive midfielders just sitting in front to protect the back four. They're sort of the enforcers. They'll move left to right. They'll win the ball back. They'll do the dirty work for you. And then in front of that, you've got 3 attacking midfielders. You can either play them as sort of wide wingers if you put them on stay forward and they stay well up the pitch, or you can have them as sort of defensive wide players. You can have them on come back on defence and they can get back in and sort of make it like a 4-4-1-1. You've then got your central cam This is where you sort of want a Terakista-esque player. You want someone who can spread the ball, who can give you that little bit of moment of magic in the final third. Preferably a 5-star weak foot player in that position, so they can drag back left, they can drag back right. As your central striker, you have to have skill moves and weak foot. 5-star is perfect. Neymar, someone like Cruyff, shapeshifter, I should say foot birthday Mbappe, foot birthday Di Maria, shapeshifter Ribery. These sort of players you want in the final third. R9, the perfect one. He's the central striker. He's the one who's going to get the ball and score the goals for you. Poaching, finesse shots, near post shots, you name it, they're the player that you want in that position.
Yeah, we can see on the poll there, right? 4 and 2 and 2 didn't even get a vote. There you go. 4 and 2 and 2 didn't even get a vote. We want to still hear from you guys, as we said, 1, 2, or 3. Number 1, 4, 2, 3, 1. Number 2 in the chat for 4 and 2 and 2, and number 3 for 4, 4, 2. I believe our next game will be Usman 999 up against Lethal Naja, who will be playing in our next quarter final. We'll have a look at that one as soon as it does get underway. Best of one game as expected. What teams are we going to be seeing? Could the NA tournament just be all French?
I mean, potentially. We will soon get official confirmation on what happened in the previous matchup as well. If it is going to be restarted with 14 minutes left to play on the clock, or if that golden goal, if the players agreed to it before and that is an official result, we'll get the official confirmation and the bracket updated as soon as we know that. But the next game that is going to be coming up on your screen is going to be Usman 999 against Lethal Naja. If it is France, it's going to be in the smallest of margins where the game is separated.
Well, I can confirm, Richard, it is going to be France again. The second time that will be happening on the North American bracket. How are they using their French team? That is what it's going to come down to again. How is this France team being used? We saw a very interesting Kimpembe at right back last game. It's been the biggest debate in the teams of how you set up in a 4-2-3-1. Yes, there's going to be probably Greasy, Mbappe. The questions are, who's in your right back position? Who's in one of your cam positions? Whether it's probably the left-hand side, Ousmane Dembele is always going to be out on the right. Your two CDMs often is going to be Kante and Pogba. We have seen Matuidi being involved, and we saw someone play Kante at right back. So, I mean, the right back is the biggest talking point here.
I'm getting flashbacks to a tournament we commentated about 3 years ago, Brandon. It was in Qatar, in a hotel. And it was the FIWC 2017 qualifiers for the rest of the world region. And the reason I'm getting flashbacks is because this entire tournament wasn't played on foot. It was played on head-to-head. It was played on head-to-head international teams. And I'm pretty sure 85% of the people either used Belgium or France. That was it. They were the two teams that everybody used. A couple of people used Brazil. I think one player used Portugal. But apart from that, it was either Belgium or France. And by the end of it, it was literally, well, which left back are you going to use? Are you going to use Moussa Dembele left back for Belgium? Or are you going to use Griezmann, Cam or Ram for France? It was really in the small details. And I'm sort of getting flashbacks to that now. Now we're constantly seeing France against France because they are, statistically, for a lot of these players, the most used and most frequently used team.
What I'm getting flashbacks to is FIFA 19 in terms of, yes, this year there's not really a crossing meta, so to speak, but it was the fullbacks, wasn't it? You know, back in the day, it was who'd you put at fullback? Was it Hullet for a period of time? Was it a centre back? Was it Ramos that was going out into right back? And that is what I'm looking forward to seeing with this French team. And I'm sure by the end of our 4 weeks and our monthly final, we're going to know everything about this French team, Rich. We're going to know about who is who, and more importantly, we're going to know the favourite formation that you guys like to play alongside both myself, Richard, and all of our competitors here. It is going to be the 4-2-3-1, and it's not really a surprise, is it?
It's not at all, no. It's the most used formation on FIFA, it's the most used formation on Ultimate Team, and it's the most used formation on head-to-head. It's just the best formation on the game. A couple of votes there coming in late for 4-1-2-1-2, but it's going to be 4-2-3-1, which does win the poll with a staggering 62.5%.
Yeah, it does indeed. We are going to get into our game now. I believe it will be our next quarter final, which we'll see, as we said, Lethal Naja up against Usman 99. If he's not playing Usman Dembele and his name's Usman, You'll be asking questions. I will be asking questions. But like I said, it'll be our third quarter final of this North American bracket. France against France. North America are not messing about in terms of head-to-head teams. They love using the French side. Here we go then. We are underway. It will be Lethal Naja from left to right in the blue strip and Usman 999 from right to left. Let's look who's playing right back. Mendy is going to be in action.
Yep. So it's going to be Benji Mendy, I believe, over at fullback. Yeah, to find out who is going to be in the bottom half of the bracket in the semi-finals. Win this game, you got a guaranteed $100 in your kitty, shall we say?
It's a big game in terms of not a lot of people see as well what has gone on behind this in terms of how many matches these guys would have played. As we said, for the European brackets, there was like 2,000 people that signed up. You know, yes, that number will get crunched down game per game. Chancellor Mbappe couldn't really get the shot off that he wanted to do, a fake shot around the corner. But it was, you know, quite a strenuous evening for these guys. Some people played on different evenings. They would have played a Swiss round over a number of hours to find the winner of each of that before it went into knockout football, and then it went into seeding, and it did all that out, and then we got into our final eight as we are today. But yeah, so there's been a lot of FIFA that's been played.
I think that's the main thing as well, keeping your concentration when you're playing this many games over 2, 3, 4 days. You've got to come into every single round with the same mentality, especially once you get past the switch stages and you're in the knockout bracket. In a one-legged game of FIFA, you have to keep your head, you have to keep your cool, and you have to keep concentrated.
Ben Yedder back to Griezmann. Chance now for Usman. Unfortunately, no way through. The ball will go straight back down the other end now. As you said, on the other side of that, we've seen Mendy in action. For lethal in this game. Standard 4-2-3-1. Kante, Pogba in the two CDM positions. It will be a centre-back partnership of Lenglet and Varane. Again, that's also one that we've had debated over both the North American and the European weekly invitational so far. We've seen some players use Varane and Hernandez at the back. We've seen Lenglet also used, as we've seen in this game. Speaking of the devil, Ben Yedder getting a start for both players.
Do you feel as though Ben Yedder will be starting in your team, Brandon, if you were to use France?
Just a second. Is he not playing Ousmane Dembele? Was he out on the left-hand side? I've got to see this again. Chance Mbappe into Ben Yedder. And still question, if he's doing that in every game, yes, he will be in my team. Wassim Ben Yedder. It is, I can confirm that. It will be Ousmane using Ousmane Dembele on the left-hand side. And Ousmane up by 1-0. Ben Yedder with it. It was Griezmann into Ben Yedder. And when he's in those sort of positions, he is never missing the target.
The exact team that I would line up with as well. I spoke about this a lot. Ben Yedder, Griezmann and Mbappe all in the team together. You can say, put Ben Yedder up top and then you play Mbappe out wide. He can make the impact for you in a wide position as well. But when you have Ben Yedder on the pitch, he is so clinical. Left foot, right foot. You saw the goalkeeper movement coming out. Just moved him an inch to the wrong side, and Ben Yedder, absolutely emphatic finish.
Love the way he touched upon it as well, Richard, in that 4-2-3-1. It makes sense. Get Mbappe out on the far hand side. He's got pace. Look, you can see him using it now. And then get it into those players that are also just as good as finishing the ball, Richard. Whether it's Griezmann, whether it's Ben Yedder. I think you're spot on there. If anything, I would have maybe used Ousmane out on the right hand side, but it depends. Maybe he's looking for the cut in. Crosses aren't really a thing this year. He offers, as you said, he offers you both.
Yeah, Ousmane, you can go down line or you can cut inside. You've got 2 5-star skill players as well out wide, so the reverse elastico, the elastico, any sort of skill with Berber spin, Magidi spin inside, they can do. Chance here, Mbappe, beautiful finish, 1-1, tied game. These matches are so tight.
Yeah, lethal Niger able to get that goal straight back down the other end before the first third of this game does tick over. We said winner of this will guarantee themselves $100 alongside moving in to the next stage of the tournament, into the final four. And that's when things start to really heat up. Pogba doing superbly well with his just simple drag backs there and jockeying on the ball, waiting for one of his players to get involved, waiting for Kante to come out of position or a defender, then trying to find a gap in between.
Kante and Pogba just holding down that defensive midfield partnership for both players. I think that's two players that are sort of in the team no matter what. If you're playing a 4-1-2-1-2, if you're playing a 4-2-3-1, if you're playing a 4-4-2, they are at the heart of the team. And I talked earlier, Brandon, about the core. There's a strong core to this French team. Those two are at the heart of it. They're sort of the cogs that keep the machine ticking over. Do you know what I mean? They're the people who are getting the hard graft in there.
I do feel like Pogba really is key to that in terms of, if we looked at this French team and say Pogba wasn't involved, of course, he's always going to be involved. Fantastic shot, that is even better save. Will be a corner, believe it or not. Do you think you could play a 4-4-2 or a formation that you need a midfielder that can get forward if you only had Kante and Blaise Matuidi? Or do you think they're too defensive?
No, I think you'd have to put somebody else in. Tolisso potentially could do that job next to Kante.
True. But to my
Hassim
point,
Aouar, if he's in the squad, Moussa Sissoko potentially, but Pogba's the best at that role. Do you know what I mean? So if he wasn't in the team, you'd probably play a different formation. You'd probably play Kante with another super defensive midfielder and play quite defensive FIFA, and then just hit people on the counter with the pace. Whereas Pogba allows you to move the ball quickly through the thirds with a centre defensive midfielder that also moves forward with the attacks.
The way I'm looking at it, right, it's a bit like sweet and sour. Two CDMs. Pogba's the one that can get forward. Of course, he can defend as well, but Kante is that CDM. He's fast. He can, he's nippy. He can get round the edge of the box, sit in front of that back four. Of course, Pogba can do that. But as you said, without Pogba getting forward, you would need another attacking midfielder, as you said, whether that would be Tolisso. If you really wanted to fall on Sissoko, probably he could just about do the job. If it was Matuidi, though, you would be kind of stuck in a bit of a rut in terms of just two CDM midfielders. This is the 4-2-3-1, as we've mentioned, and we'll keep talking about the bench as well. Of course, Steve Mandanda's in there. He's been giving me nightmares from packing him
when
today.
I saw Steve Mandanda in my elite pack today, I felt so demotivated and disheartened. Honestly.
I mean, yesterday I did some guarantees as well while we're talking on the stage of rewards, and I'm not joking you. I opened, let's just say, 12 guarantees, all right? I'm telling you right now, Steve Mandanda was in 4 of them. And on top of that as well was Slimani as well.
Oh, the Italtron.
3 of those as well. So, I mean, I really wasn't happy by this point. I've not seen it in any of the rewards I've opened or any of the rewards I've seen from like people kind of close. I've not seen an Mbappe, I've not seen a Neymar, and I've not ever seen a Ben Yedder.
Well, just to give you a little bit of indication on what my life is all about, Brandon. This broadcast will probably end around 1:30 a.m. As soon as this broadcast is finished, I'm turning on my PS4 and I'm grinding through the premium SBC that got released tonight until I pack a blue.
What if you go to all that effort and you get a Stade Remez blue?
We move, as the kids say.
Is that just going to be a case of, right, I've just got to carry on, mate?
Pick myself up, and we don't get bitter, we get better.
Well, in this game, the scoreline is currently 1-1. Both the goals came in the first 30 minutes. This is our quarterfinal, by the way, between Usman and Lethal Niger. 1-1 is the scoreline between the two. We've been talking about France, how to set them up, how to play them, who to use, and why to use it. It's the first time that we've seen someone use Mbappe out on the wide cam rock. And we've been able to see why he's been involved in that camera. I think he's been moved over now. Chance now for Kingsley Coman to get this ball forward. Kingsley Coman driving forward, a couple of ball rolls in there to mix it up. Ben Yedder, fake shot, back to goal. Mbappe's there as well. Chance will change hands and we'll go back down the other end.
I do think that Mbappe
There will be numbers.
is better. The 89 Mbappe, I think he is better out wide, in my opinion, than down the middle of the pitch. I think he does better work as a wide cam than as a central player. I think if you're moving forward and you've got an informed version of Mbappe or a foot birthday Mbappe, he's better as a central player. But the regular Mbappe, I think he plays best when he's out wide.
He's lethal now. Trying to get a chance together. Usman made that change at half-time. It was Usman Dembele that came off for Kingsley Coman. Saying that, in fact, I could be wrong. It will be Antoine Griezmann that came off. Mbappe went down the centre of the pitch from that right cam originally. Then Kingsley Coman came on to fill that gap out on the left-hand side. And Usman Dembele just swapped wings.
I mean, you can't take your namesake off, can you?
You can't. That's true.
I feel like having someone called Smith and bringing him off.
You've got to have some sort of loyalties, haven't you? Mbappe. Making that dart and run forward as always. Got Ben Yedder also on the box if he wants to try and find him. Mbappe driving. Teasing with the defender down the byline. Look for the little dink back into the box. Lenglet will clear it.
Are we going to golden goal again, Brandon? Or is it going to be another opportunity late on to win the game?
Be a foul the other way. And Yedder has risked that. Now Theo Hernandez is completely out of position. If he can try and capitalise on that. Dembele on that far hand side. For lethal.
Late chance here, Kante. Go on.
Yeah, sure, mate. Look for that one more pass. Problem is, when you delay it so much, that box just gets so compact. Look how many white shirts there are. Moving in waves and just being so hard to try and break down. There's another one. Kante on Kante. It will be Usman's Kante that does win the ball. Dembele. Remember, we've got to see a goal. We will be going to golden goal. And that really will be luck of the draw. Ben Yedder. No way through. Is this going to golden goal, Rich? Or are we going to see a late winner?
Sometimes we see a bit of late drama in FIFA. I feel as though this game has got it. How poignant would it be for Usman Dembele to potentially score the winning goal for either of these two? Mendy bombing forward.
Is this the chance? Is this the opportunity? Scoop turn round his man. Keeper! For a second, it took a little bit of a deflection off Rafael Varane, and then it needed a little something extra from Hugo Lloris. We saw a game decided from a corner in our last quarter-final. Are we going to see another game decided from the corner? Played short. If anything, just trying to recycle possession, trying to spread that back line. He's going to be offside. Is Kingsley Coman. Possession will change hands again. We're 3 minutes away from going into another golden goal.
I don't know if we're going to be going there. I feel as though there's a goal in this game. I feel like there is one more chance. He played the offside trap. If he times his run nicely, he could get in.
There's a run. There's a chance. It's Kante.
Kante!
It's Kante!
Kante! I talked about the offside trap. He pulled out so many players. They could have done a dot to dot across that back line. It was so jagged.
Oh, that is the chance, unless there's a reply. Ben Yedder, back to Mbappe, scoop turn, round his man, goes down to ground, referee waves that one away. It was never going to be a penalty. Added time of 2 minutes has been played. That is job done, and Usman will move on into the next round on tonight's North American bracket. I mean, you called it, Richard. You said as soon as the offside trap was played, there was a risk. There was a little risk that Kante was going to get through. And what have we been going on about this game? How about Kante's defensive? Kante can't do this. This is my fault, by the way. Kante can't do this and that. Pogba's the one that gets forward. Kante has just done a 45-yard run forward, latched onto the ball, and sent Usman into a semi-final. That's a $100 goal.
Yeah, so you've got your back four here. This is your back four. My hand. The offside trap pulled everyone forward, okay? But the issue was he dropped manually backwards with one of his players. So Kimpembe came back here. He then had to sprint back in front of the four players who came forward from the offside trap, meaning that this gap here, Kante could just go straight through the middle of it. Excuse me, coming to win the game.
It's funny as well, he clutched up because we've seen it before. Players that aren't natural forwards, players that don't have good finishing statistics, often missing chances like that. We saw it in the EU bracket. But on the other side of that, we saw Naby Keita come on late and snatch a really important goal also in the EU weekly invitational that took place a few hours early. If you're wondering what we are alluding to, every single week we'll have two tournaments, a European bracket and a North American bracket. We've got one more quarterfinal coming up, and this is the one I'm looking forward to seeing, Richard. It's going to be Gustavo up against Young H. Young H is the player that we have been hyping up from Austin FC, played in the MLS, of course was going to play in the second EMLS. As we know, that tournament didn't happen. The season was suspended around that time when it was supposed to happen. But Austin FC, very much new to the EMLS, new to the MLS, and maybe got a point to prove. The man said, I am an Ultimate Team player, and I think a lot of pros that come across will have to take a step back and say, right, what do I need to change about my game? Because this is an Ultimate Team. This is head-to-head. It's a lot slower. Certain things work, certain things don't work.
Yeah, the gameplay is slower. It's played at a slower pace as well. You don't have the attacking prowess of a FUT birthday Mbappe, of a team of the year FUT item that's got 99 across the board. Pace is quite a rarity, as we've seen in these game modes, and it is the deciding factor. Kante there just getting through, breaking through that back four and scoring the big goals. I think one of the big things that I've seen a lot, and I mean a lot of the goals that we've seen scored have all been finesse shots, have all been keeping it calm inside the box and then tucking it past the goalkeeper. We've not seen a lot near post. A lot's been saved at the near post, and that's probably the shot power and the finishing is quite low compared to the special FUT items that we're used to seeing in Ultimate Team. So you sort of have to change the way that you do attack. You can't just bomb down the line and look for cutbacks. You've got to play a slightly different way of FIFA.
That's good. That's a very, very good way to look at it, to be fair, Richard. And we'll look at how to compare and contrast those differences between the head-to-head and FIFA Ultimate Team. Let's have a little look at the bracket of how we are looking. We've got one more game to conclude. However, Richard, we have got a semi-final set in stone. Bosniano, a FUT verified pro, up against Dr. Charez, who won on golden goal in that last game, up against Richard's favourite pro with the favourite name in the quarterfinals. Usman just won that game there in the last kick of it as well. N'Golo Kante knocking out Lethal out of the tournament. And then in our last game, it will be Gustavo against Young H. As we said, if you make it to the semi-finals, you guarantee yourself $100. If you win the whole tournament, you get yourself $250. So it's pretty much those quarterfinal games. No one sees what went on before the quarterfinals. It was Swiss rounds, it was knockout rounds that were played before tonight's show. So there's been a lot of grinding, there's been a lot of effort and hard work that's gone into getting into this final eight. So just winning this first game is massive in terms of guaranteeing yourself some prize money and, of course, keeping that run in the tournament.
Absolutely, yeah. We see Bosniano right now in the Twitch chat as well. If Bosniano, what did you watch any of the game from your quarter finalists? What did you think to Dr. Charez's gameplay? If you are in the chat, let us know right now. We see you in there, so be sure to talk up and potentially have a look at his opportunity into the semi-finals. But this game right now, Gustavo against H. Can Gustavo do it? I think that's the big question. Can he knock out a EMLS Pro? Can he beat an EMLS Pro? That is the question on everyone's lips.
And that's going to be the poll that we're going to be asking you guys as well. We've wanted to get you involved, and we will get you involved over the course and the duration of tonight's bracket. 1 for yes and 2 for no. Can Gustavo take down the EMLS Pro? Out of the 8 involved, you would say the most recognizable pro who's played in a global series tournament. I think he's only got 30 global series points to his name so far. Of course, that'll be coming from Weekend League, and also the EMLS he might have played on an opposite console, where he might not have been able to gain any points from that competition. Yeah, let us know. 1 or 2. Yes is 1, 2 is no. We can see a few votes coming in already. At the moment, it's looking like a no. But this is head-to-head.
Yeah,
everything changes.
Everything does change. I think, especially in a one-legged game of FIFA, look, he'll be used to playing 2 legs. So these games are one-legged. If you can get an early goal, potentially put him a little bit under pressure, then you might be able to see a change, and you might be able to see a potential sort of panic come over him. He'll know that he has the pressure on himself as well. So he'll know that I can't lose this game. They've been bigging me up as the pro player, as the EMLS Pro, as the person to go on and win this tournament. So he'll also have that own pressure that he's putting on himself to not go and lose.
Yeah, and we can just see there, as we said, 2 to 1. Oh, it was a quite tight vote between the few of them. But we are going to go to a very short break. When we are back, we will continue our last quarterfinal between Gustavo, as we said, and Young Hates. Do not go anywhere. We've got plenty more action coming up tonight.
So many world-famous players, they started online.
We are good to go for our first match of the stream.
We're here for FIFA 20 action.
Who's going to be the overall grand final victor? The next PlayStation FIFA superstar.
I think the level of play that we're currently looking at, and it's fantastic. No one leaves today empty-handed.
PlayStation.
It's been 12 months of surprises, shocks and redemption stories for FIFA esports competitors on the PlayStation 4. No moment though quite encapsulated that better than the main man with a big smile, Mo Alba, who won the FIFA E World Cup just last year.
And there we go! 15 years! Germany have waited for a world champion to step up.
The Germans' dramatic victory was just one of the recent high points for the PS4 community.
I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have the spot, man, it's going down.
Strong performances to start the FIFA 20 campaign helped Clash Crazy reach the top of the FIFA Global Series rankings. But it was the Brazilian sensation Zizinho who added his name to the FUT Champions trophy by winning Stage 4 in Paris.
Zizinho will be your FUT Champions Cup winner.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
On the FIFA Majors front, 2018 Continental Cup winner Joxan formed part of the Complexity Gaming duo that reigned triumphant at the E-Club World Cup in February.
I came here for the game, I came here for the sport. Run it, we gon' stay 100. Run
As the community adjusts to life of remote competition in 2020, players such as Portuguese powerhouse Tuga and the reigning E-Champions League winner New York City Chris have adapted quickly and are thriving. Mr. Diddy Chris Lito himself even took top prize in the recent PS4 Challenger Series in March. This month, we embark on a new journey, the PS4 Tournaments Open Series, which presents an opportunity for seasoned players as well as untested FIFA hopefuls to experience the excitement of competitive gameplay. Do not miss a moment of the PS4 Tournaments Open Series.
PlayStation.
Well, welcome back once again to the PlayStation 4 Tournaments Open Series Weekly Invitational. We are in the quarterfinal stages of the North American bracket of tonight. You just saw a quick video there as well, recapping some of the best success that we have seen from PlayStation's best competitive FIFA players, didn't we, Rich?
We did indeed. We saw Zazinho lifting a FUT Champions Cup. We also saw Mo Albert lifting the World Cup trophy. What a 12 months in FIFA it has been for PlayStation 4.
Yeah, it's been massive, isn't it? Well, let's look ahead to our next game then, as we said. We have got a quarter-final happening. And the big question we were asking you guys was the case of, is Gustavo going to be an EMLS Pro? If you don't know what EMLS Pro is, of course, he will be in action in our next matchup. And the Twitch chat, Richard, is saying more no's than yes. But as we've said, it's head-to-head. Young H, obviously, of Austin FC, is in action against Gustavo. You've also got to think as well, both of these players have got to the Final 8 for a reason. And that's because they've won a lot of games.
Absolutely, yeah. It's one of those things where it all depends how much pressure he's putting on himself and how much Gustavo is going to sort of respect young H. I think that's one of the things that you have to take into consideration, because when you play against somebody like a Mo Albert, when you play against someone who you see as an idol or someone who in your head is better than you at FIFA, you play differently. If you just go in and think either A, I don't know who this player is, or B, I'm just going to play this like any other game of FIFA, you're going to have a better result against that player.
Yeah, most definitely indeed. It's all about mindset. And also it's a best of one game.
Yep.
Like, you know, a lot of these guys, especially the pros, will be used to using a best of 3 or an aggregate score on over 2 legs to see out games. So yeah, we want to still hear your votes, by the way. You can still get involved. Vote 1 or 2 simply by typing 1 or typing 2 in the chat so we can hear your voice as part of our polls that we are running over tonight. As we said, this is a $100 game as well. You win this, you move to the semi-finals. There's prize pot allowance that goes to 3rd and 4th place, which is both $100. The winner will take $250. Let's have a look at the bracket to see our situation that we do find ourselves in, Richard, because we're only just waiting for one more name to make it into the Final 4.
Where indeed Bosniano and Dr. Chares will be facing off in the semi-finals. Usman just solidified a 2-1 victory against Lethal Major, and now Gustavo will be taking on Young H. The winner of this plays Usman in the semis.
Yeah, simple as that. That's our North American bracket. Week 1 of the tournament. As we've said as well, we want you guys to get involved in the competition as well, people. We'll have a look at the prize pool of how it is breaking down. As I said, top 4 players will get a payout, and that's because they've gone through Swiss rounds, they've gone through knockout rounds to get to this stage. $250 to our winner. 2nd place picks up $150, and 3rd and 4th both get themselves $100. That is why we are alluding to it, and we are hyping up. If you win a quarterfinal, you're guaranteed some prize money, aren't you?
Yep, you win your quarterfinal tie, you're guaranteed to be walking away with at least $100. So you get something, do you know what I mean, for this sort of grind that you've been going through. The Open Series Weekly Invitational. There's, what was it, about 1,000, 2,000 people competing in Europe, in North America. There's been so many players as well, and here we are in the top 8 for the week 1. I imagine we'll even get more week 2 and week 3 and week 4 as more people and more pro players especially, their ears prick up and they think, oh, I can win some money. Yeah, I can potentially do a little bit of work.
Well, is it going to be a full house? France. Yes, it is. It's going to be 3 out of 3. Oh, we're going to see a different team. We saw Liverpool, France so much in our last EU tournament. It's just going to be France against France. Here we go. We are underway in our final quarter-final game. As we said, the winner of this will move through to play Usman. Will it be Gustavo or will it be Young H that picks up this one? And as always, we'll talk about this French side. We'll break down this French side. We'll discuss it to the best of our ability. Matuidi at fullback. Here we go. Someone else is mixing it up.
Different fullback, but nothing new in terms of the squad itself. It's going to be Gustavo kicking from left to right in the blue home strip of France, and it's going to be Young H from right to left in the white.
Well, this is what I find interesting here, because Young H has put Matuidi in at right back. Young H, of course, is the FIFA pro from Austin, and he's playing Pavard at left back.
Yeah, quite an interesting selection there for Young H, but he's looking to kickstart this quarter-finally the best possible way, hitting the post early doors.
The reason why you hear me allude to that is we're normally seeing Theo Hernandez of AC Milan in at left back. However, this time that isn't to be the case, or even Mendy could come in at left back. Another chance now for Ben Yedder, who just hit the post a few seconds ago. Wasim Ben Yedder, heel to heel, heel to heel. Link up, skill moves.
Beautiful play, isn't it? From the opening stages, opening 10 minutes, Young H has been all over Gustavo here in the opening interlude of this matchup. Is this the way the game's going to go? How long before a goal for Young H? It's brewing.
It's going to be a long ball over the top to try and make something happen. Chance just over the bar. And you have to excuse me there for a second. It is Theo Hernandez in the left back. Have I just dreamt I've seen Pavard, or was he on the other team?
I can't believe he shot there. I'm not going to lie. I can't believe he hit that from that angle. And the Tweedy on his right foot. Looking for an absolute wonder strike at the near post. Pavard there at, it looks like,
so he's playing centre back.
for Gustavo. I think he's playing right back.
Yeah, he will be. First player to actually back Pavard is Gustavo in this one. Chance now for Gustavo. No way through. With Young H defending well. Young H definitely been the stronger of the two in this first 20 minutes. He's been able to create chances. You can see those pro instincts in and around the box, can't you? The heel-to-heels, the drag backs. When a player starts to connect them up with skill moves being so hard to chain this year, pros know exactly what works and what doesn't work in and around the box in terms of chaining up skill moves.
Absolutely, yeah. It's all second nature. We talked about it earlier in the European broadcast, but we'll reiterate again here for our North American audience. It's all about the muscle memory of the skill moves in the final third, the ability to know when to drag back, when to do a heel-to-heel, when to shoot at the near post, when to open up for a finesse shot. It's just second nature. Repetition, repetition, repetition.
Here is Young H now. Kante. Can't find that final ball. He's looking for Ben Yedder. Here's Mbappe instead. Half a drag back. Dancing is Mbappe, and dancing into the back of the net of a right foot finish.
One of the most ultimate team goals that we've seen, Brandon, in this entire tournament, to be honest. Heel-to-heel flick, into a drag back, and then hit at the near post. The typical goal that you tend to see on FIFA Ultimate Team, and the typical player that you tend to see scoring it, Kylian Mbappe for Young H. Took him 25 minutes to settle into this game.
It was all about that half, a drag back. Made a defender guess and dive into the tackle. There's Mbappe with the finish, the right foot finish as well. 1 goal to the good. Young H will lead, probably the favourite coming into this one, with the experience that he's been able to collect over the last 12 months. Looking for a second as well. Can he get that ball forward? Theo Hernandez just dispossessed ball. Go out for a throw-in for him. Touchwood. Least Matuidi in fullback. Has been part of the dream defence so far. Haven't conceded the goal. Haven't actually had much to deal with, in all honesty, from Gustavo. Looking for a second Here's Young H. He's all about getting that ball into Mbappe or Ben Yedder at the right time. Here is Mbappe. Chance. Griezmann. Scoop turn. Round your man. Oh, it's even better. The finish in the top corner. The scoop turn to get away from him. Antoine Griezmann with his trademark celebration as Young H leads by 2-0.
Beautiful goal, wasn't it? From Young H. The scoop turn made it so delicate in the final third. Griezmann with the goal. Young H simply just looking like a different calibre right now. You've had these quite scrappy games, to be honest, that we've seen. This is the next level of FIFA. I tell you what, he's hit the post, Gustavo, straight from kickoff.
One of those where you really need to go in, don't you, to half the deficit. But it didn't want to happen. 2 goals to the good, though. The scoop turn, the cheek from Griezmann. To pull that off and then just to make that top corner ripple. And he's not done yet, Richard, I can tell you that. Ben Yedder. And France, more importantly, sending out a message to the rest of the group.
Oh.
More importantly, to his opponent in the semi-finals. If he was to go 3 goals up it, Griezmann will be waiting patiently.
That's class
one of these two.
To create that opportunity. And he's sort of making Gustavo resort to these sort of passes, just over the top, hopeful through balls.
It's been a perfect half, hasn't it? .5 minutes has been played. Added time just 2 bits. Will there be enough time to get that ball forward for Gustavo?
How
goes
impressive.
the half-time whistle in the end. I mean, we've expected it, haven't we? We've expected a player that knows the game inside out, someone that's grinded the game and played a lot of FIFA Ultimate Team. It's about transferring those skills, transferring that muscle memory, as we like to call it, over to head-to-head and what you can do, what are the players that offer you, you know, a decent skill move, a scoop turn, a ball roll, 5-star skill moves, a solid weak foot, and 2 goals to the good, Richard, and 2 very good goals we must allude on.
I mean, the possession, you see it on your screen there, 67% at half-time, 5 shots, 3 on target, 97% passing accuracy. This is a pro FIFA player doing what they do best, beating opposition, beating players. Winners win at the end of the day. And look, Young H, he's won in the past, and I would go out on a limb and say he's going to win again this evening.
Win semi-final or
win the tournament?
Win the whole thing.
His opponent played 5-3-2. Do you know what I mean?
Or maybe he's come into that game with just a negative mindset that he's going to be in for a really tough one, and maybe he's gone defensive on that. Or
if I see my opponent load up into the game with 5-3-2, I'm living in the head rent free. I'm already there. Do you know what I mean? I've already won the game. If I'm making my opponent play 5-3-2. Pardon?
It's just changed it now, isn't it?
I mean, why would you change to 5-3-2 when you're 2-0 down?
I don't know. I swear he did not start a 5 at the back line. I mean, why would you change into it when you're 2-0 down?
Because you don't want to get smashed on a global stage. That's why.
If anything, put 3 at the back and go for the game. Or play a 4 at the back formation that's just going to offer you a little bit more going forward. Change your custom tactics. You're 2 goals down. Something's got to change. Well, there's another pause from Gustavo. I don't know if he's realised or he can hear us. He's 2 goals down at the moment. He did start the 5 at the back. That can be confirmed. Okay. Chance, Ben Yedder. There's your third.
3-0. Game over. Young H. Simply just too good, to be honest. We often say there's levels to this game. It's at the small margins, the real top players excel from the rest, but what the gap between the top players, the pro players, and good players is huge. And I think we're seeing that right now. player, Gustavo. He's a very, very good FIFA player. I'm not saying he's not, okay? He's made it to a top 8, but he's playing against a pro. And this is the difference. This is the skill gap between good and great.
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that. And again, hold our hands up. We didn't see he was rocking a fight with the back, Gustavo, from the start of the game. But 3-0 down. 3-0 down. Ben Yedder to make it 3. And as you said, it's just the small intricacies in and around the box, knowing what works, knowing what finishing types are the go-to finishes, which players to use in the right areas. And 3 goals to the good. Young H looks to book a semi-final spot up against Usman. I'm sure we'll be watching this game and thinking, right, what am I going to be up against in my next match? Oh, it could be worse. Mbappe. Mbappe. Good finesse.
I mean, he had a great opportunity, didn't he? Went for the finesse at the near post. He could have taken another touch and power shotted it in at that near post.
Maybe a consolation or comeback. Could have been the start of a comeback if that was to go in. Corner played in, it's missed everybody. Rafa Varane in a bit of a upper body battle with Pogba. He comes out on the losing end of it.
I went to play a back heel, did Varane there. We're just simply taking the ball off of him. This will be a massive learning experience though as well for Gustavo. Matching a pro in a tournament like this where there's cash on the line, where there's accolade on the line as well. He'll learn from this. I said it earlier on, Brandon. When you match against a pro, you should be there. You should be taking notes. What is my opponent doing that he's beating me so comfortably? Why have I not had a shot on target? Why have I only had 35% of the ball? What are they doing instead of just the basics? What are they doing at the core of the game that is making my opponent so dominant?
He's putting on a masterclass right now, not just for me and you, Richard, but for everybody watching at home as well. Mbappe, the most delicate of passes to try and feed that into Sam Ben Yedder. Into our final 20 minutes now, then we will have our final 4. Cheeky pass around the corner. Ben Yedder dancing, cuts back inside, wants a guaranteed finish, put it in the toughest corner as well at the 2. And then Mbappe will bag another one. 4 goals to 0. It literally has been an $100 performance, because that is what he has guaranteed himself for making it into the semi-final. 4 goals to 0. Is there more?
And 2 instances right there that I want to point out. The first one, the goal itself, he passed it across the box. He took the easy goal. He's 3-0 up with 20 minutes left to play, yet he still passed it across the box. Griezmann here from kickoff gets a goal back, 4 goals to 1. I think it's really going to be a consolation. But the moment after that as well, from the kickoff, to try and stop the goal coming in straight away, he played the offside trap straight away. The only player that I've really seen do that from the kickoff, he's moved it straight away and played the offside trap. And you see the changes here coming out, come back on defence for his striker in Mbappe for Young H.
Let's not also forget as well, rich experience in both the Champions and online qualifiers, or even LAN events for Young H with the EMLS and his club that he does represent in Austin FC. All that experience coming together, and pros, when they're in positions like this, they're never throwing away a 3-goal cushion. Never. If they did, it would give them nightmares.
I don't think, really, unless you're playing against another pro and that pro happens to be Houston or Lost in the Waves, you're not conceding 3 goals. Quite a fortunate finish there. He got a little bit fortunate with the bounce back from Matuidi, but he's happy to take it, reinstate that lead to 4 goals. It will be Young H coming through into top 4.
Yeah, really impressive performance. 5 goals Looking for another. Why not? Mbappe, chance to drive. Get that ball forward. Back four. Nothing more than the last 8 minutes or so. Grab a consolation. Bring down the scoreline from 5-1 to 5 goals to 2. But that is the key difference between the two. And here we go then. 5 goals to 1 that has finished in the end. About 7 minutes left in it. And it looks as if, we don't know if that was a disconnect or just a case of
if it
moving
was a disconnect, I mean, if I was Gustavo and I disconnected with 7 minutes left, I wouldn't be that bothered about playing the rest of the 7 minutes. Do you know what I mean? I'm 5-1 down against the pro player with 6 minutes left on the clock. We will get confirmation if it was a disconnect, if it was a rage quit, and what the sort of precautions will be from here on out. But another comfortable performance, another confident performance from young H.
As you said as well, a learning experience as well for Gustavo. Yes, he made it to a top 8. Of course, huge congratulations for that. He will get involved in our monthly final as well. We just heard as well it was a disconnect in that game. We'll find out what the procedure will be. And as we said, there was 4 goals between the two with 8 minutes left. One of those, just mathematically, there's just not enough time left for 4 goals to go into the back of the net. Even if you were scoring own goals, I think you would be going up against the time.
Yeah, certainly. I also think it gave us a real good opportunity to show other people in the tournament and people watching at home as well what a pro player versus a good FIFA player looks like. It's always pretty much one-way traffic, do you know what I mean? Unless you either get quite fortunate and that player has an off day, or you are sort of playing at your very best. You have to play at your best, and they have to play very averagely to sort of level it out. If they play good, to be honest, for the most part, unless you're an Elite 2, Elite 1 player, you're not really competing.
Yeah, everyone that has just joined the stream, by the way, saying, what is this? What is this all about? This is a brand new tournament series that is hosted by PlayStation. It's the PlayStation Tournament Open Series, and this is an overview of everything that's happening. It's over a total of 5 different weeks in terms of we've got 4 weekly invitationals that build up into a monthly final. So every single Thursday, we're going to look at a European and a North American bracket, guys. Here you go. You can see how it's all working. It'll be 8 players from Europe and 8 players from North America that will take part in this one. We'll have 2 grand finals every single week. They're all best of 1 games with a single elimination bracket. And the winner of every single week will walk away with $250. So this is what it's all about. And it just goes over a period of weeks, doesn't it, Richard? It's all about getting to the monthly finals as well.
It does indeed, and I see you in the chat, J Muck. If you are in North America or in Europe, get involved, mate. You've got absolutely nothing to hide away from. Compete.playstation.com. That is your opportunity to play in these tournaments. It's the Open Series Weekly Invitationals. Week 2 will be happening next week. You've got the opportunity to play. Simply go to compete.playstation.com.
Yeah, really impressive. That has been set up by PlayStation. A massive, massive thank you again for getting us involved. This is only week 1. We've seen so much already. We've seen a European winner. We're currently in the stages of moving into our semi-finals as well. We're going to head to a very short break. When we are back, we will continue our matches. We'll give you an update on that last quarter-final as well before we head on into the semi-finals. And as the tournament continues to heat up, do not go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes' time for more action here on the Open Series.
So many world-famous players, they started online.
We are good to go for our first match of the stream.
We're here for FIFA 20 action.
Who's going to be the overall grand final victor? The next PlayStation FIFA superstar.
I think the level of play that we're currently looking at, and it's fantastic. No one leaves today empty-handed.
PlayStation.
Well, welcome back once again to the PlayStation 4 Tournament Open Series Weekly Invitational. Myself, Brandon Smith, and Richard Buckley here with you, breaking down all of the action. As we said, we've seen our European bracket earlier tonight. We've seen our European winner. Now we are about to head into our semi-finals, which we do have an update for you, Richard. We are moving into the semi-finals. We have got a confirmed Final Four, don't we?
Yeah, let's have a look at that bracket right now. Here in the North American region, it's going to be Bosniano up against Dr. Chares, and Young H did take the win in the end. Gustavo was very classy about the disconnect. He wasn't really... He knew we weren't going to get back into the game, so he was happy to let the final 7 minutes let them play out as they would have. Young H moving through to take on Usman 999 in the semi-finals.
Yep, and that is how our Final Four is going to be going. As we said, we saw some classy goals, haven't we? Not just in Europe, but we saw some in our last matchup with Young H. We know he's a pro. We know he's got unbelievable knowledge on the game and skill. Richard, talk to me about some of these goals we saw.
Yeah, this was the first goal of the game, 25 minutes in. Kante got it on the edge of the box, and you just saw him try and feed the ball through to Ben Yedder there. He wins it back pretty quickly high up the pitch with Paul Pogba, I believe. Good tackle there in the midfield. Holds off Griezmann. Back into Kante, and just look for him to find the ball into Mbappe's feet. And Ben Yedder. Ben Yedder is the man of it. He turns inside. He waits for the opportunity to come up. Beautiful turn there. Feeds the ball into Griezmann. Oh, look at that. That's sauce. The scoop turn into the near post shot. World-class FIFA from a world-class player.
Yeah, of course, we know the gameplay is just being slowed down there. It wasn't really that slow in the game. Otherwise, we would still be in that game commentating right now. But that Griezmann goal was a personal favourite for me, Richard. We know Young H, he's a professional FIFA player for an MLS club in Austin FC. Played in the EMLS as well. Foot verified on top of all of that as well. So this man knows his way around FIFA 20. And we saw it there just in a small sprinkle in terms of what he can offer the Open Series. And what we're going to see in the semi-finals. You've already gone out and said, is he the man to go and win the whole thing tonight?
I think he is. I think he's the player to beat for the rest of the competition. I'll be looking forward to see if anyone does beat him here in the tournament.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. We have got some news that we are going to be jumping into our first semi-final as soon as we come back from this short break, which is going to be Bosniano, as we set up against Dr. Chares. And it should be France against France. Everybody's being France here in the North American bracket. We'll be back in a few minutes' time to get our semi-finals underway. We do not go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes' time.
So many world-famous players, they started online.
We are good to go for our first match of the stream.
We're here for FIFA 20 action.
Who's going to be the overall grand final victor? The next PlayStation FIFA superstar.
I think the level of play that we're currently looking at, and it's fantastic. No one leaves today empty-handed.
PlayStation.
Welcome back. You are joining us here in the semi-finals. Joined by myself, Richard Buckley, and the man to my left, Brandon Smith. We're going to be guiding you through the rest of the tournament here on the PlayStation 4 Open Series Weekly Invitational semi-final stages. And the first time we're going to get to see Bosniano in action. You were talking him up a little bit earlier in the predictions, Brandon. What can we expect from him?
Yeah, Bosniano looks good, Richard. He's a Mexican FIFA player. He's foot verified as well. Roughly about 130 points on his name, so they would be mainly through Foot Champions and Weekend League. But that means 27 plus finishes in Weekend League as well. So the man's been grinding out the game. We didn't get to see his quarterfinal earlier on, but he's gone through qualifying to get to this stage. He got that win in the quarterfinals, and now he's in the semi-finals. As we said, everyone that's in this stage now is guaranteed $100. It's about getting to a grand final. It's the best of one game again, and I can confirm that Bosniano will be using France as well. So every single team. I mean, there's no point getting your book out now, Richard. Just throw the book away, all right? I think you know what's out there near.
I don't know if you can see it, but France do have a lot more telecharts than all the other teams. I mean, I wonder who's playing right back.
I mean, that's what the stage has got to now with this French team. I mean, next week we can come into it looking at what makes the French side just so good. We've spoken about so many different things, and we'll continue to do so throughout this one. But yeah, it's just the fullback that we've just been arguing about. I mean, we saw someone play 5 at the back with France. Gustavo, yes, he lost his game, and fair play as well to him for giving up that win late on, so we can continue the tournament. But let's have a look at how Gustavo, not Gustavo, I should say. I mean, his new opponent now in the next round is going to be looking at this one. Mexican pro player, as I said, he is foot verified. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does get on. Best of one. Things change now. You're in a semi-final. You're not in a Swiss round. You're not in the best of one Swiss round anymore. You can't make mistakes. You need the first goal. The first goal is massive. I've talked it up throughout this tournament, and I'll continue to talk it up until we get to our monthly finals, especially in knockout football.
A player who I think we've not really talked about a lot has been Dr. Chares. He came into the tournament. He got through golden goal, which I think is a big mountain to come over, because it shows that you can almost go all the way to the edge and keep on going. Golden goal is a very, very nervy predicament. He scored that corner in golden goal. Yes, both of his goals did come from corners, but if this is a thing where he's dangerous, Tony Pulis got Stoke City to stay in the Premier League playing on set pieces. So if he can make a semi-final, he's already got $100. Do you know what I mean? If he gets another win under his belt, knocks out Bosniano, there's nothing stopping him winning this tournament.
Well, here we go then. We're underway for our North American semi-finals now. Bosniano, the first time been able to see the Mexican in action, foot verified, as I mentioned. And it's the set-piece specialist in Dr. Chares. He scored 2 corners. The first one was magnificent. The second one was a golden goal winner for him. Rafael Varane from the corner. It was a header and a massive goal. It was a golden goal winner. We're underway for this one though, Richard. We are going to find out who will be in our grand final as well. I can confirm who is who. It will be Bosniano, I should say, in the red. I was going to say red, blue, from left to right. I've never seen red ever in France. And the blue strip from left to right. Maybe the socks. And on the right-hand side, it will be Dr. Chares from right to left in this game. Who's the right back? Bosniano, who's your right back?
It's going to be... Wait for the ball to go onto that side.
Go on, pass it. Matuidi.
Wow. We've seen Matuidi, we've seen Mendy, we've seen Kante, Kimpembe, and now
What's on the other side of that? It looks like it will be Mendy on the other side of that for Bosniano. Yeah, looks like Mendy in it right back there. On the other side, as you said, it will be plays Matuidi filling in at right back. If you wonder what the debate is all about, we've kind of come to the agreement that other than Pavard, there isn't really a right back of choice for France. So players have been experimenting with different things in terms of CDMs, left backs in right back, centre backs in right back. Chance early on now for that cut back, and he try and pull it off. Great save from Hugo Lloris, and surprised he was just about onside there was Dr. Chares.
What we're going to see from Bosniano, I'm looking forward to it. We've bigged him up, Brandon. He's the only player to actually play the game here this afternoon. Unfortunately, his opponent wasn't able to participate in the knockout bracket, so he sort of got a bye into the semi-finals, meaning that he's coming in a little bit cold right now into the semi-final. Is that going to potentially play a little bit of a predicament on his mind potentially? He's not had to play again.
Here comes with the first chance in the game. It's Ousmane Dembele. A bit of a dance on the ball. Goes out for a goal kick in the air. Maybe overcomplicated that one just a little too much, did Ousmane Dembele, the attacking winger, who offers you just so much with a 5-star weak foot. I should say 5-star skill moves, in fact, with the scoop turn. A player that I used to love and used until I kind of couldn't really use him anymore when my team started getting full of special items from Weekend League and other promotions in the game. But, you know, if you're building a team, you're building a starting team, maybe an ultimate team, or you want to use a player, whether he's at Barcelona or whether you want to use France, get him on the wing. He offers you just a handful of skill moves, the opportunity to use that run-in scoop turn, which can be really beneficial as well.
It is one of those players as well, Ousmane Dembele, that he is just so OP. He's so well-rounded, I think. That's one of the main things. As a wide player, he's got pace, he's got good dribbling, 5-star skills, 5-star weak foot. And he literally suits the meta perfectly. That road to the final, Ousmane Dembele is one of the still most sort of threatened cards that I come up against. He's a player up there with Team of the Season, Richarlison, that I just do not enjoy playing against.
Such an unpredictable winger, especially if you're against a player that knows how to work skill moves, knows exactly what to do. A third of this game gone. I haven't really found a direction which way this one is going to go either.
The Twitch chat absolutely loving a little bit of France versus France.
Going to get this one going. They're a big fan, are they, France versus France? As we said, we saw loads of Liverpool in action. People using Liverpool quite a lot. It was Liverpool-France that was the biggest one that we were talking about. That'll be a free kick. Maybe just penalised slightly. Was Niano. What can happen from this free kick? It will be Pogba over it for Dr. Cherez. He'll go for a direct shot. Never from there.
I mean, it was never really going in, was it?
It was brave. I mean, from those kind of areas, you've just got to look for the cross. You can play short or you look for a dink into the box, and even that is a lottery.
I think the cross in particular, it offers you something that if you've got a big player in the box, like a Varane who can win the ball, it's a certain option. But for me, you've just got to play short and try and work something in.
A lot of people are asking as well, is it 85 rated? No, these are live squads you are seeing in use. So no one's capped at a certain skill move or a certain rating. It'll be based off the last time there was a live rating inputted into the game, especially, of course, if we're looking at club teams such as Liverpool. What a ball that is, by the way. Kingsley Coman to get this forward. Still in possession is Kingsley Coman there. Chance, Ben Yedder back to goal. Again, just run into that TDM partnership, which has proven very much worthy. No matter if you're in North America or whether you're in Europe, it's got to be Pogba. It's got to be N'Golo Kante linking up. As we saw, N'Golo Kante actually scoring a winner earlier on tonight.
I'm going to throw it out there, right? I don't think France are better than PSG.
We've not seen anyone use PSG.
I know, but I'm just thinking about it right now, yeah?
Chance.
You see Griezmann
Go
on the
on.
ball there. Great finish from Antoine Griezmann on the stroke of half time. I feel like Neymar is equally in FIFA better than Griezmann, Ousmane Dembele, and whoever the other attacking player is, whether it's Coleman or Ben Yedder. He's equally better than all of those three players put together. And you get Mbappe, and you get Di Maria, and you get Cavani if you want to use him. In midfield, you do take a little bit of a hit, but with Pogba and Kante over sort of like Idrissa Gueye or Marco Verratti or whoever you want to put at DM. But I feel like, I don't know, I just think PSG are better than PSG are better than France.
It's a debate to be had. I'm sure we'll talk about it as well. If you are wondering who just scored, that was Bosniano. That went 1 goal to the good. The only thing about PSG, as you said, you have got Edison Cavani. Yes, he's unbelievable at finishing, but is he a little bit too slow?
I played Cam.
On top of that as well, you look at PSG. Yes, they've got very much good box-to-box midfielders in the camera. I mean, they've got Draxler, who offers you a decent weak foot across the board as well.
Look, when I saw Dax playing it, you're playing Neymar at Cam, you're playing Julian Draxler at Lam, Di Maria Ram, and Mbappe striker. I think that's a good way to play with it. Defensively, Marquinhos and Kempembe centre backs, Bernat over at left back, Thomas Meunier right back, and then Keylor Navas in goal.
Again, if you're a pro player that wants to get involved or just fancy your chances, compete.playstation.com. We want to see you guys get involved in this one. Bosniano is in the lead of this one. He did score the only goal with Antoine Griezmann just before the first half whistle was blown in this one. He's got it all to do. And interesting to point out as well, 4-2-3-1 in action for Bosniano. He's playing Ben Yedder out in that left cam.
Yeah.
Again, that's the only problem. You've got to play a winger out there.
I do think that if you are wondering really for, I don't know. I just feel like we've missed. I feel like we've missed Neymar. I would have loved to seen a different variation of teams used. I think when we saw Liverpool, it was slightly more refreshing to see different players used, and that was one of the real good things about Dariu earlier on.
Chance. It's a gift. It's an absolute gift of a goal. And Mbappe was just gambling on a bounce. And the fact he took it on the volley, fair play to him. I would have had to take a touch there.
He just bullied Langley off the ball. He sort of, as Langley went up for it, he just nudged him in the back slightly. Did Mbappe, forcing his balance off, and Kylian Mbappe deadly in front of goal, one apiece, with 25 minutes left to play.
Well, as we said, golden goal if we need to go for it. And that is massive. Just leg lay, just pushed off the ball there completely. Quite a routine header in terms of heading it forward or heading it back to goalkeeper. If anything, got caught between the two, and a gift for Mbappe, but fair play. The anticipation was second to none from the French striker. 1-1 is the scoreline between these two. Mbappe. Massive switch of play out to Kingsley Coman. Now, this would be a turn of events if he was to turn this game around completely and find a second in it to put himself 2-1, or Bosniano. Is he able to find a way back in front? Kimpembe driving forward. Ousmane Dembele back to defend, does enough.
Well. Chance here for Antoine Griezmann on the edge of the box. Good defending from N'Golo Kante, and a chance for potentially Kingsley Coman to get a Hernandez. If I'm looking at Kingsley Coman and I'm looking across that back four and I see the pace that Kingsley has, I'm not going to lie, I'm pressing start and I'm putting Kingsley Coman on Kimpembe's side.
I'd say one thing that I've been a little bit disappointed about this French team, we haven't really seen a huge amount of changes.
No subs really, have we?
When all we've done is hyped up how much pace they've got to come off the bench.
I think a lot of players are starting with that pace, but as soon as I clock, whether I'm playing head-to-head or whether I'm playing Ultimate Team, a weakness in my opponent's team, I'm exploiting it. So if I see a fullback potentially with 80 pace, I'm putting my team of the season, Riyad Mahrez, on his wing. I'm playing all my attacks down that side. I'm bringing on Adama at half-time and putting him on that flank. I'm doing everything I can to exploit the weakness in my opponent's team. If I'm seeing Kimpembe at right back, you best believe Kingsley Coleman, Ousmane Dembele, whoever it is who I've got off of the bench, they're going over there. I'll put Mbappe on that wing if I need to, if it's going to create me a chance.
Chance now. It's going to corner. This is Dr. Cherez. With 5 minutes left. In the box he goes. He's been a set-piece specialist all day long. Keeper's off his lines. He's going to try and catch him out. It goes to Lenglet. Actually just rushed the pass and gives possession away. Chance to counter-attack. Back down the other end. But if we go to golden goal, Richard, we've got to see those changes.
We've also seen that Dr. Cherez has already won on golden goal in this tournament. So this is a familiar situation for him.
Bosniano. Patient build-up. Twisting and turning. Griezmann. There's the drag back. It's been so clinical. Proven so good for him. Will it be the foot verified pro from Mexico to get that goal? It will be. To get the bracket just for a second. We're not updating it just yet. I tell you what, though, we could be updating it very, very soon if Bosniano is to win the game by 2-1. The drag back was perfect, and the finish was even better from the Mexican foot verified player.
What a finish from Kylian Mbappe. Smashing it in to that bottom corner. It was the final chance of the game. And Bosniano clutches up when he needs to. Big goal from Kylian Mbappe. There wasn't a lot of chances. There wasn't a lot of real great opportunities in that game. But you saw the last chance of the game. Smashed into that bottom left corner from Kylian.
And how patient was the build-up as well to get into that attack. He knew it was the last chance of the game, and you often see pros do that when they know they've got the last chance. They wait till they know it's exactly the last chance, believe it or not. You know, there's pros out there would rather have one final chance in the last 5 minutes than maybe create two, but with the risk of giving it back to your opponent and then him going down the other end and making something happen. So Pogba and Kante, just patient build up, faking to go left, right, simple, not even sprinting on the ball, it's just jogging around, just jogging. Then you start linking up your passes. Then there was a drag back, Mbappe into the back of the net. Hugo Lloris had no chance, and Bosniano, our Mexican foot verified pro, will move on into our grand final. He's guaranteed $150, so an extra $50 into his back pocket. If he wins the whole tournament, $250 the Mexican pro will win.
And I tell you what, it could be potential game of the match of the day in our final if it is Young H up against Bosniano. But Young H has got a big semi-final in front of him to potentially set up that super tie with his foot verified teammate.
Yeah, he does indeed. Of course, up against Ousmane 99. He was rooking Ousmane Dembele as well previously in this game. Let's have a look at that game now and hype up for you. As we said, he's been full of goals, Young H. He's been our player of the day. The goals that he scored, the Antoine Griezmann cheeky scoop turn into a top corner finish was a personal highlight for me, and I hope there is more of that flair and more of that sort of pro clinicalness to come in that semi-final game. We do have a look at it in a minute.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll look at some of Young H's best moments throughout the tournament so far. He played in that quarterfinal tie, and it was absolutely glorious FIFA from Young H in that quarterfinal tie.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at some of those goals that we have just seen in our last game, Richard, and we can see everything that did happen. These are a few of the goals from Young H. Firstly, who is playing in our next semi-final. Let's not forget the scoreline that this man did win his game, but he scored plenty of goals, and that was my favourite one. The scoop turn from Griezmann into that left top corner finish. The audacity to go for that sort of finish. And then the typical, the trademark, the Antoine Griezmann. I think you can whip it out a little bit better than me. I mean, the other day we had a bit of a laugh the other day with you in your hair. We tried to make you look like Antoine Griezmann, didn't we?
We did,
we put a hairband in for you, but you snapped the hairband.
I bought a hairband, and unfortunately, this is the remnants of it.
How did that happen?
My hair's just too big.
It's just getting out of control at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, it's getting very thick, isn't it?
The hairband didn't even want to know. The hairband didn't even want to know.
Look, all I know is, at the minute, the hair might be getting thick, but there's one player who is clutching up in every single game. And I'm going to slide to the left. It's that man right there. Kylian Mbappe. He is the man that is scoring all of the goals. So put some respect on Kylian's name.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, isn't he, for this French side. We are going to be looking at France against France again, and it will be a guaranteed France final. Whoever gets there, they've been the only team that have been in use in this North American bracket. Richard Buckley needs to go bald. I would not want him to do that. I think, if anything, let's just keep growing the hair. Let's get an afro.
I was thinking maybe dread it out, flats maybe. No?
I think we've got to go afro. We are going to jump into our next game as soon as it's ready. But before we do it, we've got more Twitch polls for you guys because we've been loving interacting with you, as we always do. Here's a good one for you. All we've talked about is who should be right back for France, Richard. There's 4 options we've made for you that you've delightfully picked for us. Mendy, Kimpembe, the centre-back. You've got, on top of that as well, Matuidi or Kante. So you've got 2 midfielders, 2 defensive midfielders, or 2 right backs. Let us know 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat, guys. You get to vote and you get to tell us who you would choose. Richard, who are you choosing?
Well, who would I like right back for France in FIFA 20? For vote 1, Benjamin Mendy. For vote 2, Kimpembe. I feel like it should be a game show. It should be a quiz. I would probably go with Mendy. I'm not going to lie. I feel like Mendy is probably the best straight up fullback out of those 4. He's definitely the least stiff in the way that he moves. He's quite agile for a fullback as well. He can do a job for you. And every single person in the Twitch chat is with me as well. Everyone's saying Mendy, apart from a couple of people who have said N'Golo Kante, but I'm not really on that hype train, to be honest. I think it is Mendy. I think he's the best choice, and I continue to back Mendy at fullback.
Just to put out there as well, yes, it should be Mendy as that number 1 pick, but on the second pick of that, I just wouldn't put Kante there. You don't want to take him out of your midfield. You need him there. You need him in your midfield. If anything, I'd put Matuidi in as my second pick. I wouldn't put Kimpembe there. I don't know.
What about?
Go on, do
3
your
at the
deal.
back.
3 at the back. What, with your fullbacks coming back? With your right wing and left midfielders dropping in?
Left centre back. Central centre back, Kimpembe. Right centre back, Varane. Right wing.
3-5-2.
Like a right mid. I'm going with Toven, if he's in the squad.
Okay.
Left mid, we want quite a defensive mid, like a defensive-ish player. So I would probably go with. You know what? I would put Ben Yedder, left mid. Controversial.
Okay, he's got to do a lot of running. He's got to do a lot of running.
Yeah, who would I want left mid? I'm not too sure.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you are doing that, you kind of need to look at the 3-5-2 as an option of pulling your left side and your right side back, and then you also need, you know, so much more going forward as well, and 2 players that can certainly do that. This is where we are right now, guys. We have got 1 man in our grand final, people. Bosniano is there waiting patiently. Our foot verified pro from Mexico snatched a 2-1 win and snatched it at the death. Richard Buckley, last kick of the game. It was Mbappe with it, dragged back into the finish. Now we've got Usman up against Young H. Young H, obviously, that pro of Austin FC. Played in the EMLS and put on an absolute show in our first quarterfinal of the day.
A couple of people saying in the chat there, maybe Upamecano as a right back, that could definitely be a shout as well. I think we've just got to look at the current France squad as well, and who's really in the squad, where you can potentially look for future players. But that is an active poll in the Twitch chat right now. Mendy, Kimpembe, Matuidi, or Kante. Make sure you get your votes in and make your voice be heard. If you're wanting to go 1 step further and you can potentially be on this broadcast, you can be here next Thursday. Compete.playstation.com. Get your sort of self-registered through the website. Link your ESL account to your PlayStation account and make sure you are here competing next week for a chance to win some cold, hard cash.
Yeah, most definitely. We want to see you guys involved. We want to try and get as many of you involved as possible. A lot of you as well saying like Upamecano and so. You've got to remember, this is head-to-head, so their ratings aren't going to be their team of the seasons. They're not going to be their promos from FIFA Ultimate
If they're
Team.
not being selected in the squad, they're not going to be in.
Yeah, that so, as well on top of that. So you've got all of that to debate around. Then you've got players that are like 77, 79 rated that could debate to be as part of the teams in there. As soon as the game is ready, we are going to jump into it. As we said, we've got Young H up against Usman in our second semi-final. Winner goes into the grand final. And let's jump into it right now. France against France, surprisingly. The question is, who's playing at right back? I mean, we'll probably
Who's playing at right back? Who's playing at right back?
Right. I mean, that is the worst theme tune ever if that's some sort of program you want to run. Right. Matuidi's in on one side of that. It looks like Usman will be in the white, and it will be Young H that is in the blue. So Young H from left to right in the blue. Remember, he put on an absolute clinic in the first game, 5 goals to 1. He did win. And then Usman on the other side won his game with an impressive scoreline and is now into the semi-finals. He's in that white strip from right to left. Chance early, Young H. Is he looking to get an early goal? Ben Yedder, not even sprinting around the box. Drag back after drag back, twisting and turning. The tackle is well read. And Lenglet will only just about get that ball as far as Paul Pogba.
He wins the ball so high up the pitch, though, does Young H. Pogba winning it back there. Kante also involved in the attacks as well, just snatching the ball back high up the pitch. You see how quickly he presses people in. One of the real big things that pro players will do. They'll not give you any room to breathe on the ball.
Chance. Nearly a goal. Just flashes wide of the left-hand post. Did that chance. Winner of this guarantees himself at least $150 and moves on into our grand final. Which way is this one going to go?
I mean, I would expect to see a early goal from Young H, just given how his game against Gustavo went in the quarterfinals. However, different opponent here. Usman 999 knows the scope of the task in front of him.
First goal is going to be everything as well against a player that's got so much in terms of quality going forward, how clinical he's been. Dembele into Mbappe. Watch out now. This is where it gets dangerous when the two of those link together in Ben Yedder. Drag back City in and around that box. Pogba. The two will interchange again. Fake shot off the post. Nearly the first chance and the first goal of the game.
Opportunities galore right now. Coming in, it seems, for Young H. He's continuing to create and he's continuing to sort of have his way with all the opponents that he's playing.
Half chance there of Mbappe, but just struggling to break down these two banks of four. Say the two in front and then the bank of four. The two CDMs, as we've been talking about, have been so difficult. The anchors of that team. Pogba and N'Golo Kante. Ben Yedder around the corner. Got to appreciate how patient this man has been. Kante. Back to Pogba. A lot of people will say this as well, where it's just so much slower head to edge. You have to be patient in your attacks. You have to slow it down all the way. Chance that was, couldn't have the touch around Rafael Varane.
These opportunities seemingly going begging at the minute. Can Usman create? Just got on those blue shirts. He's trying to play through the middle. Ben Yedder looking to link up with Griezmann. Opportunity to strike on his left foot. And he will strike. Antoine Griezmann.
In terms of this game and how a lot of people thought it was going to go, it's a massive goal for Usman. First chance he's been able to create so far this game.
Big opportunity going the way. Look at the chances there in the top left corner. 67% possession for Young H. Is that going to fuel the fire potentially? Are we going to see a better version of himself playing right now? Antoine Griezmann. What a strike.
That puts on so much pressure as well for Young H in terms of every time he has to get that ball forward. He has to be even more clinical now. He's chasing the game. If he can find a second it, he could really rip up the script. Kante. Watch out, Greasy. Once again, wants to get on that left foot, wants to try and get that shot away.
Ben Yedder looking to build in to another attack here for Young H. Griezmann making the run. It's more of a decoy run. He's not going to use him. Same with Dembele there on the left-hand side. Now playing into Ben Yedder. These chances have been coming thick and fast, but he only needs one of them to hit the back of the net to force the hand of Usman yet again. But Usman's got something to defend right now. In a one-legged game of FIFA, you can defend.
It's only by a goal as well. One goal, that's all it is. Mbappe, back to goal. Well defended again. Varane is in the way from that pass that was about to find the feet of Mbappe. Sorry, the feet of Ben Yedder. Before we know it, it would have been game over. Just a few seconds left, and what half it will be for him. He'll be thinking, right, to be honest, I've not created much. I think that was my only chance off the game, but at least I was clinical with it.
Oh,
Ben Yedder, surely not a brace, surely not a second. Before the break, it will be! On the finesse, on the edge of the box, Ben Yedder will strike. Wow.
What a goal right there from Ben Yedder. Usman 2-0 up against our favourite, against our pro, against our EMLS player. Usman 2-0 up. Ben Yedder, what a strike.
It looked too ambitious from there. It just looked a little bit too far away, in all honesty, as we're jumping back into the second half. But 2 goals to the goods. I think he's had about 2 chances all game in the nicest way to Usman. But what has he done? He's taken those chances, Richard. And we're back into the game now. Young H with it all to do. Wow.
I mean, if Young H turn this game around right now, fair play to him. He deserves to be in the final.
I think the point on top of it, Richard, is that he's just struggled in terms of he knows what he wants to do, and he's probably sort of in that ultimate team mind as well of how he scores goals usually. Difference is those players have just got so much better individual statistics that make them quicker to move and make them faster in their transitions with a drag back with the finishes, what works, what doesn't work. Yes, don't get me wrong, he played a fantastic game in the quarterfinals as well, but just in the semi-finals where it's got to a stage where it's got to a ball roll and a drag back, maybe Usman's just started to read it a little bit more.
I mean, he's certainly been the more clinical of the 2 players. I don't think you can say anything about that. The winner of this match advances to the North American Grand Final as well. We have to point that out. This is a semi-final tie, and the winner will play Bosniano in that final.
$250 in the line as well for that grand final, which we cannot wait to bring you. Our final earlier today went to extra time. In the game it was Ben Yedder trying to find a way back in this one for Young H. Goal before the 60th minute would be very much welcome. This is that chance. Mbappe, what's the save? Just kind of took it when Mbappe was, his body wasn't quite round the ball, was it? Chance still. Lumen, Varane, Mbappe. He wants to take the finesse from that exact same distance where Usman was able to score from.
Simply knows that he has to go forward as well. No more wasted chances, no more wasted motion, and that's going to be an offside, and that's going to turn the ball back over to Usman. 999. Doing very well here to just keep hold of the ball, he's Usman.
Wants to win this game as well, Richard. The confidence going into that grand final.
Oh, he'd be off the charts.
Finds a third. It would be job done. Any sort of mental motivation for young H would be wiped away. Ben Yedder to the third. If it wasn't for a great save from Lloris, it would have been a third. Corner. Just flicked it at the near post and just wide from Rafael Varane. Right, those are the changes we're seeing. We're seeing Nabil Fekir come on for one of these two.
And I don't think you've seen the impact that Griezmann's had for Usman. In terms of young H, he's forced him out wide onto his wide left position, with Fekir now taking that central cam role. I don't think that Griezmann is suited to be playing out wide.
Here is Griezmann now. As you said, yeah, Griezmann out wide now. He just hasn't got enough pace about him. Nabil Fekir will come on as an option for fresh legs, but again, he's more that cam player, as I mentioned and alluded to. He's the one that will find that final ball, find that key to the door.
And Usman just has to defend right now. Go striker, drop back, put your men behind the ball. You're about to beat a pro player if you can hold on to this lead. And with 15 minutes remaining, he knows that he is very, very close to seeing out this victory, and potentially one of the biggest victories of his FIFA career.
Well, this is young H now. We can see what he's done in terms of custom tactics, what he's going to be changing as well quickly. Greasy out on the left-hand side. He's still happy to stick with that, and he's ready to jump back into the game. But 2-0 down. Young H, he had probably his best chances in the first half. And other than that, Usman's just kind of shut him out, ensured he couldn't really do anything. In terms of maybe one of your predictions, Richard, this could be out of the window if he is to get knocked out.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it could be a serious turn up for the Bucks. There is still 15 minutes left to play. Mbappe. But I tell you what, Usman has defended so well in this game.
And speaking of Usman, here's Usman Dembele on the ball to finish the game off in style. Can't get past Hernandez and Enlenglet. That would have been maybe a little bit too much of an ask for him. As we said, we'll have our grand final coming up straight after this one as well. So if you do want to strap yourselves in for a grand final, when it takes $250 plus all the bragging rights. Is there a chance? Is there a comeback? This has to go in. This has to be the chance.
Oh, no.
He pulled away from his man, and Mbappe was in. He just played the ball across goal.
Yeah, I think he must have been aiming towards goal, and just a pass from Usman. Going back to Griezmann in a very, very poor situation there.
Ben Yedder. Still Ben Yedder. Seven minutes now. Time is not on the side of young H. It really isn't. Pogba. Nabil Fekir. One of these chances has to go in. That's that chance. Mbappe.
Yeah, over.
Isn't it?
I do not see 2 goals in 6 minutes. With the way that Usman's defended, especially since scoring that second goal, it gave him the confidence. And he has been clinical.
Just additional time to come now. Mathematically, there's no chance. Every bounce that has gone his way has gone his way, and that will be our grand final. It will be in paper. We can look forward to it. Usman will be there, and he'll be up against our only foot-verified player left in the tournament, Bosniano of Mexico. Battling out for the bragging rights on week 1 of our North American bracket.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Brandon. There's no other greater confidence than beating a pro player. For Usman, 999 right now. He is on cloud 9 coming into this final, and to be honest, he deserved it. It wasn't a fluky win at all, really. He might not have held the possession, but the chances that he had, the chances he scored. He created and he scored. Simple as that.
What could we say that, you know, is in debate to want to be one of our best games of the day and maybe even our competitor of the day in terms of what he's been able to achieve there. He's just overcome one of the tournament favourites, certainly one of your favourites. You know, after that performance, I would have been on the same horse as you as well, mate, in terms of the performance that he pulled out. It was a really, really strong performance, 5-1 against Gustavo. And now we find ourselves here, Richard. We've got a grand final on our hands. Bosniano against Usman.
Lethal Nigel's just come in the chat actually and said that he's foot verified as well, Brandon. So potentially, Usman's knocked out a pro player and then knocked out a verified player in Lethal 2-1 in the quarterfinals. So he's been absolutely outstanding.
Wow. Well, shout out to all of our competitors, Lethal as well, for coming in after his game. Hopefully, my friend, you will make the bracket again next week. As we said, this is a 4-week tournament plus an extra week on top of that, in all honesty, for our monthly finals. And everybody that makes the final 8 will be invited to that monthly final, which should certainly be an exciting way to end off technically our first kind of series or season, so to speak, of the PlayStation 4 Tournaments Open Series there. But as we said, we've got a grand final coming up very, very soon. Before we do that, though, we are going to go to a short break. And when we're back, we'll have our grand final. Our first ever North American winner will be crowned here on this exact platform on Twitch as part of the PlayStation Tournaments Open Series. We'll be back in just a few. Do not go anywhere.
So many world-famous players, they started online.
We are good to go for our first match of the stream.
We're here for FIFA 20 action.
Who will be the overall grand final victor? The next PlayStation FIFA superstar.
I think the level of play that we're currently looking at, and it's fantastic. No one leaves today empty-handed.
PlayStation.
so many world-famous players, they started online.
We are good to go for our first match of the stream.
We're here for FIFA 20 action.
Who's going to be the overall grand final victor? The next PlayStation FIFA superstar.
I think the level of play that we're currently looking at, and it's fantastic. No one leaves today empty-handed.
PlayStation.
Well, welcome back once again to the PlayStation 4 Tournaments Open Series Weekly FIFA 20 Invitational. Here we go then. This is our grand final time. Brought to you by myself, Brandon Smith, and the man next to me, Richard Buckley. We're jumping into our grand final for the second time tonight. You hear me ask why? We've seen a European grand final. We're about to see a North American grand final, Richard. And let's have a look at the bracket of how everything has got to this stage. From 8 players down to the final 2, Mr. Buckley.
Yep, let's look how both of these two players did get to the final. For Bosnino, it was a bye actually in the quarterfinals. Unfortunately, his opponent wasn't able to make the designated time. He then moved into a semi-final, beating Dr. Chares 2-1, setting him in to this final. For Usman, he had an absolute journey here. It was a bit of a gauntlet. He had to play Lethal Niger in the quarterfinals. He beat him 2-1. He's a verified player. He then had to beat our only pro player in the tournament, EMLS pro player, Young H, 2-0. He's now into the final. Is that road going to continue? He's facing a foot verified player in the final in Bosnino. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Usman, the underdog, or will it be our foot verified player, Bosnino?
Yeah, most definitely. We are going to be coming to the Twitch chat very shortly in terms of getting your predictions. But before that, Richard, I mean, let's talk about some of your keys to victory, Richard, because there must be a few things that you believe players must do to go the extra step and win tonight's tournament.
Absolutely. Okay, so these are my keys to victory. These are the things that you have to do in order to succeed in FIFA, especially in finals. You have to play the game, okay? Don't focus on the final. It might sound very hard to do, but try not to focus that this is a final. This is potentially one of the biggest games of FIFA that you're playing. Just try mentally prepare yourself. If that's going into the bathroom, splashing some water on your face, calming yourself down, putting on your headphones, listening to music, get in the zone. The second key, protect the lead. We saw it perfectly from Usman in that last game. If you're in the lead in a game, see the game out. Don't do anything unnecessary. Don't play silly. A lot of people, Tex says it perfectly himself. Don't be stupid. He says that to people that he plays with. Don't do things that you wouldn't do. Don't make mistakes if you can afford to not make the mistakes. The third thing, get cool, keep calm, and keep composed. Keep this always in the game. You might be sort of failing on the pitch, but if mentally you're in the game, you've always got a chance to win.
Yeah, and also, let's not forget, it's the best of one, this grand final. It'll be best of one throughout all of the knockout stages, and on top of that as well, the Swiss rounds that these guys have played on to get to this stage. And what do you think changes, Richard, from a quarterfinal to a semi-final to a grand final? What is it? What is it? Is it just the tiny bit more pressure on the line?
I mean, technically nothing. You're still playing a one-legged game of FIFA. You're still playing the France versus France. In terms of the gameplay itself, nothing. But in here, this is where it changes. It's all mental. You know that you're going into a bigger game. You know you're playing against somebody who's won their matches, someone who has not lost today. So you're constantly building them up. Okay, you're building up this sort of anticipation inside your brain. And I believe we've got one of our final Twitch polls of the broadcast. Brandon, take it away.
Yeah, we do indeed. We want to hear from you. Who is your predicted winner for this game? Who is it going to be? Type 1 or type 2 in the chat for who is going to win it. Is it going to be Bosniano, or will on the other side of that be Usman? 1 or 2? We want to know. Usman, remember, has beaten 2 verified players. Is he going to take out a third and make it a hat-trick and win our first North American weekly invitational? 1 or 2 in the chat. At the moment, there's not been a single vote for Bosniano.
Wow. A lot of people fancying the underdog Usman to take it in. He's already took a couple of big scalps and he's looking to end this sort of Cinderella story, shall we say, of beating the favourites in the tournament and knocking out now Bosniano. He'll have knocked out 3 verified players in a row if he was to go on and win the tournament. 6 votes, all for Usman.
And let's not say it too loudly, but I'm pretty sure Bosniano was in the Twitch chat earlier, and if he's seeing this vote, and it's going to give him brilliant confidence going into this game to know maybe somehow he's now the underdog in terms of this match linking up. We are going to jump straight into the game as soon as we can. It will be a best of one. As we said, winner will be tonight's champion. Will be week 1 of our PlayStation 4 Tournaments Open Series FIFA 20 Invitational. Our first North American winner. We'll look forward to seeing them, of course, in the monthly finals. They might even qualify for next week's tournament as well. And as I've been saying all this time, if you want to get involved at home, you can get involved. It's compete.playstation.com. You guys can get involved. We'll jump back to that Twitch poll a little bit later to hear what was the sort of final verdict, but we could see it was sort of one-way traffic at the moment in terms of who was the fans' favourite to win this one.
Yeah, absolutely. There you see at the bottom of your screen, compete.playstation.com. If you want to be getting involved in our competitions, do it. There's nothing else that you can be doing right now. Get some FIFA experience, get some practice in, and hopefully we'll be able to see you next Thursday. I also want to give a quick shout out to everyone who's been watching this entire broadcast from 5 p.m. UK all the way up to now. It's up to what, we're 12:30 in the morning right now. If you've been joining us for the entire broadcast, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching some of the best PlayStation 4 players in the world doing their stuff, and we're hoping to find the next Zizinho, the next Joxan, the next Mo Alba through these Open Series tournaments.
Yeah, we really do appreciate support, and more importantly, we appreciate you getting involved in all the polls. Here we go then. Grand final time is now upon us. France against France, as always. And it's going to be Bosniano up against Usman for the grand final. It's going to be Usman as well in the blue strip from left to right. On the other side of that, Bosniano from right to left in the white French strip of this game. Which way is he going to go? The Twitch chat have said what they needed to say, Richard. Can Usman pull off a remarkable evening of FIFA action? Would it be 3? Would it take 3 big scalps out the tournament?
The only thing that sort of, I'm going to say it, and some people think that it's a sort of a fake statement, but sometimes you already play your final. And is that game against H Usman's final? Is that his peak? Is that the peak of how he gets? People in the Olympics, when you're doing 100-meter sprints, you never want to run the world record or the personal best in the heats. Do you know what I mean? You want to save it for the biggest moment. You want to save it for the final. You don't want to peak too early. Has Usman peaked too early? That is a question that we will soon find out.
Yeah, the first goal will be 50 times more important in terms of a grand final. I'm sure how tightly contested our last one was. And lucky punch hammer picked up that result. A narrow result it was in our EU Invitational, our first week. The best thing is we're doing it all again next Thursday as well. So make sure you do stay tuned to everything that's going on. I tell you what, that could have been the first goal if it wasn't for Rafael Varane and a big left leg.
It's a beautiful double tap cross, I have to say. Right idea. Just quite a fortunate block on the line there. Would have been something very special indeed.
See him trying to build into the game. Bosniano. Couple of drag backs. Did it perfectly in that game where he snatched a last minute winner. 2-1. Mbappe scored it. He loves getting midfielders on the ball. He loves getting Pogba on the ball. We set out the 2. He's the one that will go forward and he will be involved in attacks. He'll be a vital part of it. Also, Usman has to defend against Usman Dembele. Kimpembe in at right back.
Usman defending against Usman. Usman scoring for Usman potentially.
I mean, there's so many puns we can get going here.
Who's going to be the man?
Who's going to be the man to score the first goal? There are hundreds of people that competed in this tournament. We're down to our final 2 if you have just joined. In the PlayStation 4 Tournaments Open Series. North America weekly invitational. Can he turn around his man Mbappe? Runs it off the pitch. Got a little bit too excited there.
25 minutes gone already. In these finals, the time and the clock just escapes you. You look up and you see 30 minutes. You've played in a few recently, Brandon, in real big games of FIFA. A couple of times when you've been 19 wins and you're going for that gold one. I've had it myself when I've been 22 wins and going for that 23rd win to get elite. You look up on the clock and it's already half time. And you're like, where is the time going here?
Yeah, it goes so quick, isn't it? But then when you're winning,
so slow.
It goes so slow, doesn't it? I think maybe that's just we're looking at it so much. That's nearly a half chance. It still could be a half chance. Oh, it was Ousmane Dembele scoring against Ousmane. That would have been a story. But twice, last-ditch tackles from Ousmane. Keep this game all square. Cristiano. Chance. Ben Yedder, heavy touch on the left-hand side. Get that ball back across. Away again. You've got to be careful. 3 or 4 mistakes he's made in the last couple of minutes. Whether it's nerves, not quite sure.
I mean, out of the back there, it was very sloppy, wasn't it? Should have probably scored, to be honest. The sort of spamming X to just clear the ball, and those chances falling for Bosniano in the final third. I'm surprised that we're still at a 0-0 scoreline, in all honesty.
Dembele, this is nice. First sniff of trying to create a chance. That was for Ousmane. That first time he's been in the box of Bosniano. We've been crying out for a really tightly contested game of FIFA, Richard, which is going to be won on a piece of magic or a mistake, as I often say. Which one are we going to see to break the deadlock? Griezmann, who's pushed out onto this right cam, it seems. Chance. Mbappe, twisting, turning. Could that be the opener? It will be in this final. For a second, I thought Bosniano overplayed that one, but Mbappe into the back of the net, and we have a breakthrough. I said it would be luck or magic. It was magic from the Frenchman.
Beautiful finish at that near post. I'll tell you what, I didn't think he put enough on it, but Hugo Lloris just not strong enough to claw that out just before half-time. 1-0 for Bosniano.
Time of just 2 minutes. There will be enough to get that ball forward for Bosniano. As you said, you'd expect Lloris to do a little bit better there, but there was just so much power on the shot. It could be worse for him. Paul Pogba. Defended by Lenglet. And there we go, Richard. Half-time between the two. In our grand final, we do have a breakthrough. And we do have one goal that has gone the way of the FUT-verified player and the Mexican. I mean, it's a decent goal. As I said in the build-up of that commentary, I thought he overworked it a little bit. He got it out to Mbappe, and it was a case of he turned in, he turned out, then he kind of spinned on the ball, and lucky enough, he caught off Lloris off guard.
He just didn't have enough Lloris at the near post. His palm wasn't strong enough. It just sort of went straight through his fingers, and Mbappe sort of breaking the deadlock here. If you think you can do better, and you think you can win this tournament next Thursday, join the competition, compete.playstation.com. This is your opportunity to back yourself. Make sure you get involved. Compete.playstation.com. We've got North American tournaments and we have European tournaments. They run pretty much all week long, with the finals of every week culminating here, the weekly invitationals. At the end of the month, we also have a grand final where more prize money and more FIFA points will be up for grabs. So if you back yourself on FIFA, compete.playstation.com.
Yeah, get yourselves involved. You've got nothing to lose, guys. You fancy your chances, but you want to just prove to a few mates that you are actually half decent at FIFA, or if you're a pro player looking for a little bit of extra practice. Get involved, and hopefully we can see you in our live broadcast next week. Here we go then. We're back on the way for our last half. Potentially, it might not be. If we do see an equaliser from Usman, this one could go to golden goal. A golden goal grand final would be unbelievable if we could get there. Bosniano that gets the first chance in it.
How's this game going to go now? Because Usman, the reason he was so good in that semi-final is because he got the early lead. Do you know what I mean? He had something to play on. He had something to defend. His opponent in H had to come forward. They had to attack him. Right now, the roles have reversed. We're in a grand final, and he has to go forward. He has to take the game to Bosniano.
Corner for Bosniano. It leads by a goal to nil. That came from Mbappe. Chance. Another corner. Mix it up. He's going to play short. It's time to Ousmane Dembele. So many blue shirts back behind the ball. It's trying to just separate them, pull them out, make things difficult. Ben Yedder. Drag back. There's the ball inside. That's got to be the goal. Mbappe is taking a deflection off Mendy. They get the ball back to make for now. But Mbappe will find a brace, Richard. And unbelievable scenes we have just seen here. 2-0. Bosniano will lead. And in a one-legged game of FIFA, it's a scoreline that is so hard to pull back.
He actually like it potentially going wide. Because it's gone down as an Mbappe goal, it was on target, the shot. If it would have been going wide of the goal, it would have gone down as an own goal. So the chance was probably going to find the back of the net. The Mendy deflection just put it a little bit close to the keeper. So slightly unfortunate there. You see the possession stats in the top left corner. 64% to Usman's 36%. He's just simply not been able to get hold of the football.
I think we'll look back to your point as well about playing your final before the actual final, as crazy as it can sound. You saw such a good performance in the semi-finals against Young H.
Did he peak too early?
I mean, that's the debate, isn't it? That is the debate. Mbappe. To Griezmann, happy to keep possession, and if anything, just see the clock down. You're up by 2-0. Mbappe back to Griezmann, ball around the goalie. Wassim Ben Yedder thought for a second would have made that 3. It's going to, surely.
No.
Oh, he's giving it back to him. Oh no, you hate to see it.
That is the game. We've seen Ben Yedder sealing the victory for Bosniano. $250. Better off is Bosniano, and potentially will he be back next week to defend his crown. Just to put into perspective, I see a few people in the Twitch chat talking about France. I'll be keeping a tally chart this evening across both competitions, across Europe and North America, and I believe 12 times we have seen France used. We've seen Liverpool twice, and we've seen one player use Barcelona. That equals 15. We've got the one player wasn't able to compete this evening. So 12 out of 15, 4/5 of the competition have used the same team. That's quick maths for you.
Just to allude on it as well, I think we should scrap Richard's ratings and it should be Richard's tally chart.
Look, I'm always up for new ideas.
I mean, like, we come into the show and you bring out your tally chart.
Yep.
And you say, right, this team's been picked this many times. Then it could get to like 26 times, something like that. And then we'll go on to the teams you recommend.
Brendan, the book's not going anywhere. You can believe that. The book's here to stay. I've got a pencil as well, so I can rub out if I make a mistake.
I mean, I think we're going to be saying plenty. Let's just say seeing plenty of French teams. I mean, again, the EU was completely different in terms of they saw Liverpool. Are they going to look back on this now and say, right, you know, France is the team to use? We've cried to see PSG in action as well. We've not seen enough of PSG. We've not seen enough of all the other teams that we've recommended here. Of course, as we said, these are weekly tournaments. So next Thursday, we will be back again with both the European and the North America one, and we'll have the monthly tournaments at the end of the month as well. So plenty of FIFA action every single week. We want to get more people involved. Is it going to be a third? I should say a fourth. Dembele's laughing. Not against Usman. Not against Usman. Usman Dembele scoring against Usman and rubbing salt into the wounds. 4-0. We are looking at a new North American champion.
For one player you don't want to score against you, it's Usman Dembele if you're called Usman. Like, that is literally the ultimate sucker punch. This could be 5. Killing Mbappe away from Varane. Oh, that was beautiful.
And obviously at this point, we get it. When you're 3 goals down, you know it's game over. Maybe you're a little bit careless at the back defending. He won't go home empty-handed. $150 he leaves the competition with. He's qualified for the monthly finals. He's having a party. Greasy's on the score sheet as well. And Bosniano is 5 minutes away from writing himself into the PlayStation 4 Tournaments Open Series history books in week 1 of our North American Invitational.
Beautiful Berber spin inside onto his left foot. Griezmann with the finish past the goalkeeper. And Bosniano with the performance of the tournament. Hey, Lewis, we hope to see you next week. He says that he's beat Young H twice in the daily tournaments. He knows that he's not far off hitting the top 8. We hope to see you next week competing.
What it's all about. We want to see new faces, familiar faces, even a handful of pros in there. It's to be as exciting as it can be, and a must-watch tournament every single Thursday. And in time to come, Richard, we will be crowning our second champion of the evening. It will be a European champion. Lucky Punch Hammer took the crown there from Europe in week 1. He's dancing. Usman for a brace. You can find a way through. There's your 2 minutes of additional time. Bosniano will be your North America Invitational champion of week 1 of the PlayStation 4 Tournaments Open Series, and he has certainly deserved it. Commiserations to Usman, who falls in the grand final after a fantastic run in the tournament, but there's only one man that will be smiling tonight in terms of being a champion, and Bosniano, the foot verified player from Mexico. As soon as we saw he was foot verified, we got a little bit excited. We thought, okay, maybe this guy could be the one to watch out for tonight, and he's the champion.
Yeah, we thought that it potentially could be Bosniano versus Young H in the final. Young H fell at the semis. Bosniano didn't fall. He continued to strive forward. He continued to excel. And he is your week 1 North American Grand Champion.
He is indeed. Huge congratulations. Let's look back on the highlights of our grand final then, Richard, and some of the highlighted goals. This is the first one from Bosniano. And talk to me about this goal. It's Pogba, I believe, into Griezmann. Got it into Mbappe.
For that turn.
And this is where I'm worried a little bit. Did he take too long?
Well, you potentially expect your goalkeeper to save that, but a great finish there at the near post. This is the second goal. Nice little bit of build-up. Ben Yedder dragged back into Mbappe, going away from goal. Quite fortunate. Mendy got the block there at the near post, but that was the second. That sort of killed off the game, and then a couple more to really top the cake with a little bit of icing sugar, little cherry here and there. It was a nice little cake to eat, and it came with $250.
And to be fair, when Usman started scoring as well, I think there's just a few sprinkles on top.
Yeah.
It was moving to a new level at this point. But as we said, huge congratulations to our winner, Bosniano, my friend. Hopefully we'll see you next week. I would love to see that some of these top 8 players re-qualify again next week. We can see the Twitch chat is full of people that want to be involved. You know what to do. The link, we'll put it up on the screen again, compete.playstation.com. We want you guys to get involved. There's links in the chats from our brilliant moderators that have been involved tonight and helped out people involved. The link is just down below there. But let's re-look at the bracket, Richard. It's been a journey tonight in the world of North American competitive FIFA, and now we have a winner.
Yep, how did Bosniano do it? He got a bye in the first game, 3-0. He then beat Dr. Charles 2-1 in the semi-finals before dispatching of Usman 5-0. What a performance it was from Bosniano. He's just come in the Twitch chat as well, saying, love you guys. Bosniano, congratulations. A deserved winner here in North America. Week 1. We hope to see you back on week 2 to potentially go back-to-back.
Yeah, of course. A huge GG as well to everyone that got involved tonight. No one sees what actually went on behind the top 8 finish in terms of a night of FIFA, in terms of Swiss rounds, knockout rounds, just to get to the top 8. So massive congratulations to both the European and the North American competitors that were in the top 8. And you're thinking, is this it? Is this a one-off? No. This is only just the start of the Open Series. We're 4 weeks long of invitationals. So next week, the 11th of June, then the 18th, then the 25th, and then literally on a Monday night, following that 25th, that 4th week, we have our monthly finals, people. So get used to this, because it's going to be happening quite a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. Same place each week on Brandon's channel. Make sure you do not go anywhere. The EU tournament, 9 a.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. BST. The NA tournament, 2 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. I should say, BST. FIFA will be here with PlayStation. This was the Open Series Weekly Invitational, Week 1, and Week 2 is coming next week.
I've got one question for you, Richard. Who is playing right back for you for France?
I'll tell you next week. Come back next week.
I'll tell you next week. Have you enjoyed tonight, Richard? It's been a pleasure, isn't it, getting involved in this, both covering the European and all the way over to the North American brackets.
Yeah, it's been real fun seeing some of FIFA players that you don't really get the opportunity to see. In our job, we often see the creme de la creme, the best players in the world, Tex, Desari, Mo Alba, these players, but it's nice to see potentially the layer underneath that, the players just on the cusp, just on the ring of potentially going into that sort of bracket. It's good to see the future of FIFA esports right here with PlayStation.
Yeah, well, amazing stuff. Thank you again so much if you have tuned in from both the European and the North American bracket. I've been Brandon Smith. That man has been Richard Buckley as well. We'll be back again next Thursday. Huge congratulations to our winners and all the competitors involved. We'll be back next week for the PS4 Tournaments Open Series Weekly Invitationals. Until then, stay safe, stay home, and we'll catch you very soon. Good night.